getting paid now, even before you have a product, even before you really know your niche or you really know what it is that you want to do. You can get paid now. Man, I saw a guy recently on Instagram. I've been following some information in a different niche that I want to learn more about, and I follow a few people on Instagram, and it's really cool when you like can tell they don't know what we know in this world, but in terms of like how to sell and launch a course, and they don't know copywriting and all this stuff, but they're posting on Instagram how you can get coaching with them. And I bought coaching. I was like, yeah, I'll it was $100 for 60 minutes of time. I was like, no brainer. And it's just such a testament that you don't have to have it all figured out in order to get started. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row in order to start generating revenue now. And that's the big misnomer. And that's a lot about what we talked last week. If you're waiting for everything to be perfect before you start generating revenue, you're going to be waiting a long time. And a lot of us can't afford to wait that long. So if you haven't watched that training, I really want to encourage you to go back and do that this week as soon as possible, because that's something you can put in place today. It really is, okay? But today, right now on this call, we're moving the ball forward. Week 6 of 8, we're going to talk about how to figure out exactly what your customers want so that you can create that very thing and sell it to them more easily. This is what it's all about, to be honest with you. And this is so important. You know, a lot of times we just come up with our own idea. I'm going to do this. I'm going to create this. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to teach this. And we don't even bother to ask what our audience wants. It's like they don't get a say in the matter. And when you flip this to be a servant to your audience, your job as a marketer, as a salesperson, but James, I don't like sales, as a CEO and a business owner becomes so much easier. This course was born out of a survey, and the amount of people that have watched, I mean, we've had 3,000 plus people join our group in 5 weeks, right? Hundreds of people are joining the archived material. The 1,200 plus people, when I get off these Facebook Lives, it says 1,200 people have watched. Like, unbelievable, right? This training came out of a survey. It came out of asking my audience, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So week 6 is all about figuring out what they want. Now, really quickly, I want to share something else with you guys, because I just put this together, and it's totally separate, but extremely valuable and relevant, and you're going to want to grab this as well. What we've done, my team and I, which is something we're extremely proud of, really excited about, is we interviewed some of our top students that are going through my Business by Design training and some of my coaching programs, and we asked them, we said, what has been your #1 tip or strategy for generating more sales of your digital product? Okay, so these are from students who are doing the work. They are out there in the field, they've suited up, they're playing the game. Some days they get their butt kicked, other days, huge victory, right? And I went to all of them, we interviewed them, and we said, what is the one tip or piece of advice that you would share to somebody who's just getting started or trying to sell more of their digital product? And we captured 11 of those in an awesome PDF. It's absolutely free. The link is below. I'll make sure to also put it in the Facebook group. You're going to definitely want to grab this. It's a fantastic read. And it's not coming from me. It's coming from my students in every different niche imaginable, from like law of attraction to food canning and fitness and guitar and like every niche imaginable. So Teresa Lowe talks about how she was able to more than double her attendance rate. Rachel Miller talks about how she gets engagement on her Facebook ads for 2 cents to 10 cents. You know, and there's many more. So make sure to check that out, businessbydesigntraining.net/strategies. And we will link that up after this as well for you. Okay, 11 strategies for selling more of your digital products. Great PDF. You're going to love it. Now, let's get into today's stuff. It is 8:12 a.m. Perfect. Okay, really simply, if you want to know what your customer wants, you got to ask them. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. And that's going to be, I'll tell you right up front, that's going to be your action item of the week. Now, how many people are actually doing this? Or how many people have, oh, I've done this, James. Well, when? Well, I did it 3 years ago when I got started, right? A survey is not a to-do item. It's a discipline. You don't go to the gym once and say, I've been to the gym. You go every week, every other day, right? And listening is also a discipline. And that's what this is about. The person who understands their customer better wins. It's not that this needs to be a competition, but the person who can listen more effectively wins. Okay? Now, this is another PDF. This is an accompanied guide or PDF that will go deeper on today's training that you're getting absolutely free as well. And I know the link is a little yucky. So just like take a screenshot on your phone or screenshot on your computer, but it's surveydownload.pagedemo.co. I know, ugly link. I know. Okay, however, this PDF will go deeper and accompany today's training because all I'm going to do is talk about surveys. Some might say it's not a very sexy topic, but we're going to do some cool stuff, and we're going to talk about some of the mistakes people are making, even those that are actually doing it. Like the biggest mistake is they're not doing surveys, right? So you're not going to make that mistake, but there's a lot of mistakes people are making once they deploy their survey. So we'll get into that as well. Okay, so this will be really fun. This will be really short, really easy, but there will be some action required of you this week. And if you have questions, post them at any time. Now, there are 2 survey styles we're going to really talk about here today. The first is what I call the Ryan Levesque Ask model. Has anyone read my good buddy Ryan Levesque's book called Ask, A-S-K? Fantastic book. It's a great read. He basically shares a 3-question survey that's as simple as saying, question 1, when it comes to blank, whatever the thing they're doing, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to losing weight, right? When it comes to using video in your business, excuse me, what is your number 1 struggle? Please be specific and give as much detail as possible. Now, the reason, the psychology behind that, just so you have a basic understanding, and we'll talk more about this in a moment, is that people don't always know what they want. And if you walked around the street and just went up to random strangers and said, hey, what are your goals for the next 5 years? What are you working towards? The average person wouldn't have a clue. I don't know. Now, this is important on a side note. From a personal development standpoint, and this is stuff I talk about on the podcast, I think everything is intention. And we must have intentions. Intentions about what we're doing with our day, intentions what we're doing with our life, with our business. And so I don't, first of all, want you to be one of these people. If I bump up to you on the street and said, hey, what's your intention? What's your goal this year? Like, what are you working towards? You should know that answer immediately, right? But most people don't. So if we start asking questions like, what do you want more of? What are you trying to do? What's your goal? It's going to be a harder question for people to answer. It takes more brain power, and people are always trying to conserve brain power. You make them think too much, and they're not going to take the survey. But what people love to do, besides watching reality TV shows like Real Housewives, this is kind of a second best, is they like talking about what they don't like. Oh, you know what really grinds my gears? You know, people love complaining. Now, the funny thing is if you call someone out on complaining, they don't think it's complaining. Oh, that's just the way it is, right? So you give them an opportunity to vent a little bit, and it's going to be really, really easy. So just remember that. People don't know what they want nearly as much as they know what they don't want. So if you can, you don't need to use the same question here. What's your biggest number one struggle, right? But you want to look for the unwanted, because the way it's probably the reptilian, survival aspect of the brain is wired, is it's always focusing on what it doesn't want, right? For like survival purposes. I don't want that. This was painful. This hurt, right? So if we can use a question to draw out the unwanted, then we're going to get more responses. We're going to get them to communicate. But of course, when we read that data, we're going to have to make sure we interpret it effectively. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay. Now, you could just do that one question and submit that, send that out to your audience. And don't worry, we're going to get into stuff like, what if I don't have an audience? So we'll talk about all that. But we want a little context. So question two gives you some context, as in, who is the person that is answering this question? And so question two is like, which of the following best describes you? And you could come up with a list of what Ryan would call buckets or categories or segments of your audience. And then, of course, question number three is a really great question to have. It says, may I follow up with you? If so, like, please include your contact details below. And what this really does is and Ryan talks about this in his book, if someone gives a long answer to question one and they fill out question three, this answer has much more weight and value than someone that gave a one-word answer to question one and didn't even give their contact details. Okay, so it kind of creates a scoring system or a weighting system to see which ones you should pay more attention to, which is really important when you're interpreting the data. So that's survey style number one. I'm going to give you the survey style that I kind of tweaked and played around with and sent out recently, and it was really successful. Now the challenge is it's longer. It's a 6-question survey. So, don't expect that many people to answer 6 questions. It's a lot of work. But I still did. I still got a ton of people to do it. Okay. Now, I put all the 6 questions on your screen. So they're worth writing down or taking a picture of. But I'm going to read them, and I'm going to talk about the psychology behind them. Okay? Question number 1. Have you ever tried blank? If not, why or why not? Now, this first question is really simple. What we're doing is eliciting objections. Now, if you're going through this training with me, we haven't used the word objections yet, as far as I know. But when it comes time to selling, the objections play a major role, because in my opinion, it's the only thing standing in the way between you and the sale, is the objections that the customer has. The yeah buts. The reasons for not buying. So if you've got a product on, let's say, how to do Facebook ads, like I do, and you say, have you ever tried Facebook ads before? If not, why? Why not? And all the answers they give you are going to be the objections. It seems too complicated. I'm afraid of losing money. I don't have anything to sell yet, so I'm not ready for Facebook ads. So this is, to me, one of the most powerful questions you can ask, because now when we get into the sales side, those are the objections that you're going to need to address. Okay, so that's a powerful question. Of course, question number 2 looks familiar to you, right? What is the number one biggest struggle or obstacle? Just like the previous survey example. Number 3, how are these problems affecting you? So this is important because this answers the question, why? Why does this matter? Why is this a problem? We're looking to go deeper. So there's this concept of an internal and external problem. Okay? This is very important, so you're really going to want to make sure you write this down. The external problem is the thing that we can see, taste, touch, smell, whatever, right? Like in a fitness example, it would be like, I've got a beer belly, right? Like that's the external problem, okay? The internal problem is how that external problem makes you feel, or what you say to yourself about that thing. So how do I feel about the beer belly? There's some people that love their beer belly. There's other people that are embarrassed to take their shirt off at the beach because they feel ashamed. Now, I just tapped into the internal problem. So when you can speak to both, you create empathy. Empathy or understanding creates rapport or connection. Are you starting to see just how important it is to know thy customer? So even just 3 questions in, we can get their world. We can really understand who is our customer. Okay, number 4, this is a fun one. What is your ideal solution? How would they go about solving this? You get a lot of fun answers. Some people say, well, if I knew, I wouldn't be filling out this survey, right? But some people will tell you how they want it to go, how they want it fixed. This starts to speak to the transformation or the result that they're after. Number 5, what are you hoping to achieve as well? What type of results are you looking for? What type of goals? You know, the guy with the big beer belly may not want a 6-pack. Like, you know what? Like, I'm not looking to be like, you know, some chiseled guy with a 6-pack. I just, you know, want to get rid of the beer belly, right? You know, number 6, if you could sit down and ask me one question, what would it be? Okay. And that's, that helps me a lot, really, with creating content. Like, what topics am I going to create content around? So that's a 6-question survey. It's longer, but wow, you're going to get unbelievable data from that. Okay. So this is 2 ways that we can do a survey. There are many different styles of surveys. There's many different ways to deploy surveys. There's many different segments that we can deploy the survey to, but I'm just going to give some of the basics here. Here's 3 ways you could do this. And number 1, this is actually the way I recommend. It's a phone call or a Skype chat. I don't think enough of us are doing this. What is really stopping us from hopping on a phone and actually talking to our subscribers and our past customers? You will learn so much about them in a 20-minute phone call, and it's the easiest thing you can do. And people who are on your list, people who follow you, who open your emails and have purchased you in the past, if you're at that level, would be just amazed. They would be so excited to get on a phone call with you. But it's like we don't do it because we're like afraid of other people or something. And you could just get on the phone And you just kind of informally ask these questions that I gave you, and you just listen and you shut up. And if you are doing it on the phone, here's a great tip for you. When they finish talking, instead of going to the next question, you say, what else? What else? Anything else? And the more you do that, the more you'll draw out from them. What they tell you is rarely, the first time, is rarely the like core of what's going on. And if you let them speak more and you kind of draw it out of them, you will get a deeper, more accurate truth as to what their current situation is. So to me, a phone call, otherwise, meet in person, which would be amazing, is going to be the best way to get data. How many phone calls you need to do, that's up to you. I mean, talking to 5 people is going to be better than talking to no people, right? You'll know. You'll start talking to a few, and you'll be like, okay, I know what's going on here, and I know how to serve them. And you'll know how many. It could happen in 5 people. It could happen in 10 people. Who knows? Okay. Number 2, this is a really easy one. If you have people on an email list right now, you want to, you could send an email, and I'll show you a screenshot in a moment, where you just ask them to reply. Like, I'm surprised more people don't do this. Hey, just hit reply to this email and let me know where you're at. Because that's really easy. And then, of course, the third one is some sort of like SurveyMonkey form or a Google form. Now, you can create a Google form for free. So you can deploy a survey for free. You don't have to buy any software. Okay. Here's an email of an exit survey I did. And it just says, hey, I noticed you participated in my free training series, Business by Design, but you chose not to enroll. I would love to know why. Hit reply and let me know. Look how easy that is. Reply, answer. Reply, type, right? So I try to make it as simple as possible. And if you have a small list, you don't need a form. Just tell them to email you back. Okay. Now, here's some of the problems I'm seeing when people go, oh, yeah, I got a survey. They go into someone else's Facebook group, and then they spam. I consider it spam, by the way. They spam a link to their survey. Hey, guys, you're my ideal audience, so will you take a second and fill out this survey? And that is the biggest mistake on so many levels. So I'm saying, for the record, don't ever do that. Now, here's why. Number 1, it's disrespectful for the group owner, okay? It's completely disrespectful to the group owner. But number 2, it's not your audience. So just getting random people to fill out a survey is going to give you bad data. What you have to start understanding, if you haven't discovered it already, which I promise you will, is that who you are and how you show up attracts a certain type of audience that's akin to you. They gravitate to you. And just to point it out to you guys, some of you are here, or all of you are here, because there's something about me or my message or who I'm about that you resonate with that you don't resonate with somebody else. That doesn't make them wrong. It just is what it is. There are a lot of people that don't resonate with me. That, especially when we talk about some polarizing topics, like if there's people out there that are saying you gotta hustle and work hard and you can sleep when you die, and then I say the opposite of that, some people really like to be the hardest working person in the room. So they're not going to resonate with me. That's fine. So imagine if I surveyed them. If I surveyed these hustling workaholics, I'm getting wrong data. So we only want to survey the people that have already begun to be attracted to you. Okay. Does this make sense? So people ask, well, like, can't I just post in groups and stuff like that? You're going to get bunk data. Bunk data. Okay. So even if you have a list of 10 people, reach out to each of them individually and be like, can we get on a phone call? Why not? Run a Facebook ad, to one of your free reports, get 20 people to opt in for it, and reach out to those people. Like, a lot of people will have excuses why they can't do some of these things I'm saying to do. What if I don't have a list yet? What if I don't have any customers? What if I don't have the software? What if I don't have the time? I want you to get really good at noticing these what ifs that you have. Successful entrepreneurs don't stay in those what ifs, those problems, or those objections. They become resourceful, and they creatively problem solve their way out of it. Begin to notice when you say, this sounds great, but I don't this. I'm not that. And observe yourself saying that. And notice how at times we immediately go from, this is what I want, this is what I'm up to, and then we let the external circumstances around us tell us we can't get those things. And then we're stuck. You got to start finding ways out of that. So yeah, what's stopping me from putting in an opt-in page in a Facebook ad and spending a little bit of money and getting a few more opt-ins? Okay, then I'll survey them. I think just in 10 years, I've found continuous ways to outmaneuver my own excuses. I've got creatively resourceful enough to hack all the reasons why I've told myself it won't work. And you've got to be able to do that. Okay. By the way, the accompanying report will go deeper into how to deploy your survey. It'll be like step-by-step instructions. So make sure you go through that. Now, last thing I want to talk about is interpreting your responses, because I think a lot of mistakes happen here. Here's 3 steps of doing this. First of all, when you get your data in, if you're doing it on the phone, just take as many notes as you can. You can ask them to record it, but you got to get their permission. Okay, and then just say, I'm just using it for my own internal purposes. Then that way, if you record it, you can just listen to it over and over again. You could get it transcribed over at rev.com. But if you get it in through text, step number 1 is just to read all the data. Just stay present to it. Read it out loud. Get into why they said it the way they said it, why they wrote what they wrote, and just kind of receive the data. Then what I do is I start to create labels or categories for all the answers. So someone might say, like, blah, 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 I've been struggling with finances and haven't really had the money. So I'll go, okay, not enough money is this category. And then another response would be like, I'm in debt right now and I just paid this. Okay, not enough money. That's another one for not enough money. So I kind of create these chunked categories that I put my responses into. And then I look to what are the most popular responses. So I'll say, 72% of people said it was this, while only 5% said this. So I'm looking to see what are the most popular answers. Popular, right? Okay, the most common. Okay, and then as I look at those categories, I'm looking for the best solutions to that. Okay, well, if they said the reason that they're not using Facebook ads is because they don't have the money, I could come up with a few solutions. Maybe it's like, okay, I can show them how you can get started for just $5 a day, kind of thing, right? So that's like a big overview. I go deeper in the PDF, so again, it's worth checking out. But I want to talk about some of the traps of surveys. This is the biggest one that I see. Watch out for vague answers. Let me give you an example. No matter what niche you're in, I've seen my customers do this, so I've really had to like unteach this, like teach them out of it. No matter what niche you're in, you could be in guitar playing, you could be in personal development, you could be in, dog training, right? And people will say the same thing no matter what niche you're in. I'm stuck. I'm overwhelmed. And if you've ever done a survey before, I already know that you've had these answers. And the mistake people make is they say, oh, they're stuck and overwhelmed. I'll create a course on how to get unstuck. I'll create the course on how to get out of overwhelm. And and I've done this test with people. I've said, do you feel stuck right now? And they'll say, yes. And I say, okay, in my hand is a plan that I'm going to put my name on it and guarantee that you can generate $100,000 in the next 3 months with this plan. Now, if I give you this plan and I coach you through it, do you still feel like you're going to be stuck? They always say, no, that's amazing. So notice how a course on how to get unstuck is not what they're looking for. And that's what we try to do when we interpret the data. Whereas if they're stuck or overwhelmed, they just have a bad plan or no plan at all, or maybe too many plans, but they don't have the right plan. And your offer has to be the right plan for them. And as we get into later training and more of what I teach in Business by Design, how do you communicate in your free content that your plan is the right plan for them? So I don't even talk about being stuck or overwhelmed. I just tell them this is the path, this is the plan, the strategy for this result. And if that's the result you're after, this is the plan for you. And they go, oh my gosh, you're right. That is the plan. All of a sudden, I don't feel stuck or overwhelmed because I know what to do. They're stuck or overwhelmed because they don't know what to do. They lack the confidence or the certainty in what to do and what the plan is. That's our job, is to give them the plan. But we don't just call it the plan. We call it something like, how to use webinars to sell your product, or the, chord progression, blah, 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 for playing the guitar, right? Okay, so does that make sense? This is an internal interpretation of an external experience. Everyone that you survey, everyone here that does a survey will have at least one person say, I'm stuck or overwhelmed. Doesn't matter what niche you're in. Does not mean you create a course on how to get unstuck. Don't do that. Okay? By creating the right course, it will, and they follow it, they will naturally get unstuck and out of overwhelm. Okay, here's another one. You ever heard this quote before? I love this one. If I'd asked everyone what they wanted, they'd all have said a faster horse. Henry Ford. Obviously invented the Model T, right? Now, whenever I'm doing surveys, this quote is in the back of my head. And it's so important because I've had a lot of people say, James, this is what people told me they wanted. So I created that and it's not selling. And Henry Ford got it right. They all said they wanted a faster horse. But as soon as the car came out, they wanted the car more than that. They just didn't know what they really wanted. So we want to be very mindful of not letting your customers or your audience, your survey respondents, tell you what they want. and let that be the product. We are much more concerned about the pain points and the problem that they are in and the place they want to be in, the solution, how they want to feel, what the transformation is. So the problem and the transformation, we're much more concerned with that, and it really needs to be on us to facilitate how we're going to get them there the fastest. Your customer won't necessarily know what they really want, but remember, they do know what they don't want. Because if they really knew how to get out of the problem, they wouldn't really need you. Okay? This is an important one, so I hope you guys get that. So when it comes to them telling you this is what they want to learn, this is, you know, they want I want a faster horse, you want to be very mindful to take it with a grain of salt. They may think that's what they want, but you can always get more accurate truth when they describe what they don't want. Okay, I hope you guys get that. All right, guess what? We're just about done. Remember, a survey allows you to narrow down the possibilities. So like you stand before your audience and you go, man, I could create a product about anything. Really, I could create it about anything. The survey allows you to narrow that down, to create a hypothesis. A hypothesis that says, I believe that my audience wants this product and they will happily pay for it. So at the end of your survey, you should have a hypothesis, a theory, but the hypothesis is put to the test and proven true or not when the sale is made. Someone handing you money is the ultimate test. Don't forget that. You could do surveys until you're blue in the face, but the real way to operate is to be the scientist, the experimenter in your business every day, and even let selling be a test. I wish more people operated that way, because I can't tell you how many people I see who spend months creating this product, perfect course, and then they do everything they can to launch it, and it tanks. And they put all this meaning and junk on it, like, I'll never succeed, no one likes me, I'm a failure, this is never going to work, see, I told you it wouldn't work, blah, 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 and then they give up. And instead, we want to be this detached, third-party, observing experimenter that's seeing, okay, I really know a lot about my audience. I don't know everything. Let's see what happens if I put this in front of them. No, that didn't work. Okay, well, let's try this. Well, that didn't really work either, but I learned a little bit, so let's try it. Ah, they like this. Okay? But that's not what we really do, unfortunately, because we're human beings. We make all kinds of stories up about, oh my goodness, they're not buying, they don't love me. We want to be really careful about that. So I'm always going to urge you guys and encourage you guys to be the scientist. You're just testing and observing. When you do it all from a place of service, you know, you're trying to unlock the best ways to help your audience. I'm still doing that. Okay. So your homework for the week is really simple. Can you do it? Deploy a survey this week. Any way you can. If you got to get on the phone, reach out and say, hey, reply to this email and we'll book a call. Like, make it easy for yourself. That's something really, too, guys, to speak about, is when you create action items and to-dos for the week, find the way to make this as easy as possible for you. Notice when you start to overcomplicate things. You're setting yourself up for failure when you do that. You don't need any complicated software to run a survey. You don't need to have fancy web pages. You don't need to hire a copywriter. Okay? It could be as simple as sending out an email that says, I'd love to hear from you. Hey, I've sent this email out to my whole list, and I'm looking to learn more about what my audience needs so I can provide you guys with more great content. Hit reply to this email and answer this question. Or hit reply to this email if you're willing to get on a phone call with me this week, and we'll schedule a time. Or if you have like a calendar scheduling system, click the link to book a 15-minute call with me. We don't have to overthink this, but we do have to do this work. This is the essential foundational work, and you should be doing surveys all the time. Survey people in we survey people in a launch and a promotion. You'll notice, for those of you who are new to this group, you were given a survey in order to join the group. Anybody who joined the group in the last 6 weeks joined the group and had to answer 2 questions. What was your biggest struggle, and how do you identify yourself right now? Which bucket? Okay? I practice what I preach. I survey people in a launch. I survey people on webinars. I survey people after a launch. Why didn't you buy? I survey people when they just joined my list. It's a discipline. And this is the work that we have to do, because the person who understands their audience better wins. Not that it's a competition, okay? So, simple stuff. Again, I want to give you guys the link to the PDF that accompanies this training, Getting Started with Surveys, how to read your customers' minds so you can sell them more of what they actually want. Please download that free PDF. There's nothing to opt in for. Just go to the web page, and it's a one-click download, and it's yours, and it will go just exactly what we just talked about, but it will go deeper with the specifics. Screenshots, swipes, emails that I've written to ask for surveys, like all that stuff, right? surveydownload.pagedemo.co. That concludes my training for today. Let's get into some questions, shall we? Can we do some preguntas? Has this been, thank you, Mel, for posting the link. So the link is in the chat box. Appreciate you guys. Mel's actually posted both links. So if you guys joined late, I want to share something else with you guys. It's a free PDF that my team and I created called 11 Strategies for Selling More of Your Digital Products. The link is posted in the chat box. Mel posted it just now. Basically, we asked some of our top customers what was their #1 strategy for selling more of their stuff, and we got 11 customers in completely different niches to give us their answers. It's a fantastic read. It's absolutely free. I highly recommend grabbing it. So let's get to some questions. Ben, nice to see you here. Andrew Ray, great point. Proof the hypothesis is the sale. Yeah, exactly. Melissa says, great module. Thank you, Melissa. Let's see. Pamela. Yep, get out of the what if. Figure it out. It's possible. Love it. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, T. Raven says, what is your response rate? That's a really good question. It always depends on the type of survey, right? And who you're sending the survey to. Right now, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't even look at that number. If you get 1 response, it's better than none, okay? What I don't want you to do, and I didn't mention this, so please make sure you guys are still listening to this. Don't incentivize people to take your survey. Hey, I'll give you a $5 Amazon gift card, or I'll give you a free whatever. Please don't do that. Why? Because they'll take the survey for the wrong reasons. You want the people who just need to vent, who are really struggling to answer the survey, not because there is a reward at the end of the tunnel. So don't do anything like that in order to get people to respond. It skews the data. Let's see. Let's look for some new ones. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, I'm going to refresh my little app here. If you have any questions, just let me know. We can chat for a while. I'm going to do my best to read them all if I can. Does this work if you have no list? Well, you can't email a list of 0 and ask for a response. So no, that doesn't work. But we have talked about list building in this training, and you got to start. The thing is I'm just going to be straight with it. With this, is that if you have no list, you have no business. List building, guys, gals, needs to become number one. If you don't have a strategy for list building and you're not building the list, you don't have a business. The entire sequence that we teach is TLC. Tattoo that on your brain, right? Traffic to leads to customers. The L is for leads or list building. So we have to follow that progression, and we can keep it that simple. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Yasmin. Yeah, Yasmin says, how would you suggest we ask people to participate in a survey? So inside the other PDF on this one, there is an example swipe file of an email. I promise it's as simple as just asking them. You know, I'm coming up with a bunch of new content, and I wanted to hear from you so that I can make content that's the most relevant to you. I mean, it could be as simple as that. If you wouldn't mind just taking 30 seconds to answer the following question. Hit reply to this email. People want to be heard. They really do. Your ideal customers do. Landy says, do you use Ryan's Bucket.io software to capture the segments? No, I do have it, but we just use Infusionsoft because we can do that really easily in there. Okay, let's see. How often can you safely survey your list? Okay, so great question. First of all, if you have an autoresponder, so that like when someone opts in, let's say you have 2 new people opting into your list, an average per day, you can just put a survey email, like one of the first emails after they opt in. That's what we have. So anytime new people opt in, we're constantly getting new survey data. So that's one way to look at it, so you're always getting fresh information. Then how often can you email your list and say, hey, you know, if you're doing it more than once every 6 months, I think that's overkill. So like once or twice a year to your entire list as a general, what is your number one struggle? I think it's plenty. Once or twice a year as a general to your whole list. But every time we finish a launch, we do an exit survey. Right before we go into a launch, those people that are like participating in that launch, there's some form of survey that takes place. So instead of just like asking once a year, you want to find different ways to ask different questions to different segments. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, more questions? What do you guys got for me? Any questions on past material as well, or anything else that you're struggling with at the moment? I'll give you guys a few more minutes here. And again, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in now for an hour. For those of you guys too who've been doing this for 6 weeks with me, that's so awesome. I so acknowledge you for that. I cannot tell you how important taking that consistent action is. How most of this is just the fact that we fall off. right? How many books have we not finished? How many courses have we not completed? And to get into this committed discipline of following through on what we say we're going to follow through is huge. And you guys are practicing that and demonstrating that here. That's huge. Huge. So well done. Well done. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm going to try and get caught up on the questions. I'm so lost where I was. Okay. Melanie, nice to see you. Really can't hear this stuff too often. Thanks for the reminder, James, and importance of serving your customers. Awesome, Melanie. Josh says, have you ever done a Facebook ad campaign straight to your survey? Advisable or no? No, here's what I do instead, Josh. Get them to opt in, and then on the thank you page or in the email after they opt in, ask the question. Do the survey then. So Facebook ad to an opt-in, like Facebook ad to a really cool PDF or cheat sheet, something really simple. Maybe it's just a quick video. And then ask them on the thank you page to submit the data. They've got to have some sort of relationship with you. Remember what I said, guys. If you don't, go back and listen to the replay. Is that you want the data from the people that are attracted to you. So if you're just asking random people on Facebook in an ad, you're going to get skewed data. You want the people that read the ad, clicked on the link, opted in, downloaded the free thing, and said, wow, I really like this. Then they give you their feedback. That's the people you want. So Jason asked, how often should you survey? And I did answer it. Hopefully that gives you clarity, Jason. You know, there's totally different types of surveys, but a general one, like twice a year. Ben, how do you feel about those places that keep asking for email lists? I don't know what you're talking about here. Those places that keep asking for email lists, there's no way I would sell emails, but I just want to know. Can you clarify that, Ben? I'm not entirely sure what you're asking. Let me know. Bob, in building a small list, is it worth offering a substantial discount in return for a review of the product? No, I'm not a fan of discounting your products at all. If you're selling digital products, I would not discount. It trains your audience in bad behavior. Believe it or not, like when you have a great product and people get great results, they're gonna be more than happy to give you a review, give you a case study, and testimonial. Look, guys, like you'll be amazed at how easy it is to get people to do things like submit a survey or give you a testimonial. It's a lot easier than you think. It's just about asking. And with these areas, I would really avoid trying to incentivize. In fact, I don't even know if it's legal to incentivize testimonials and case studies. That might even be something worth looking into from a legality standpoint, to be honest with you. Like, hey, I'll give you some money if you give me a testimonial, right? Which is essentially what we're doing if we do a discount. So I do not advise that. But great question nonetheless. Tamisha, hi James, how long should you expect to be on the call with them for the survey? And do you provide any micro coaching during the call? Great question. Yeah, I can imagine you're asking the micro coaching because you almost feel like, who would want to get on the phone with me? I should be providing them value, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. No micro coaching needed. The phone call is up to you. I think you could get an unbelievable amount of data in 15 to 20 minutes, right? You know, just letting them talk. It really is going to depend on how little you talk, right? So, you know, like, hey, you know, thanks so much for getting on the call, Tamisha. Like, I'm just here to learn more about you, and I'm just here to listen. I'm here to learn about where you're at, what you're struggling with, you know, and so I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, great. Okay. So tell me a little bit about where you're at right now. Like, what is the biggest thing? What is your biggest goal, and where are you struggling? And then they'll tell you, and you say, okay, tell me more about that. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then what else? Well, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what else? And you just keep saying what else, and then you could go like, anything else? No, that's about it. Okay, great. You know, and just ask a few questions like that. Nat says, I'm committed to this course because I paid $10,000 for it in my mind. Yes, I love it. Thank you. I received it in my mind. Carla, what does this say about my list? I've asked my readers many times these sorts of questions. It's in my welcome email, and I've sent a couple of emails to them asking and have asked on Facebook. No one ever responds. Like no one responds? Does that mean you have 0 responses? Or is that kind of like only a few people respond? If no one responds, I would look at how many people first have received it, right? Is this a numbers thing? That's the first thing. I don't know what it says about your list, but in my experience and in experience with my students, if you just set the stage and give some context as to why you are asking this information, then you'll get responses. And make sure as well that we make it as easy as possible. So if you send them to a super long survey, no one wants to fill that out. So maybe just have them hit reply to an email. And remember the why. Okay, so if we say, I want to continue serving you and create the best content possible. In order to help me do that, I'd love if you could help me out for a second. Just take 30 seconds and answer the following question for me. So we got to tell them why we're asking. If you can communicate it as, hey, you'd really be helping me, because people want to help others. And if you make it really easy for them, you should get answers. And if you're still not, I don't know what that says about your audience, to be honest with you. If you're doing all that stuff and you've got a couple hundred people and no one's giving you a response, I have no idea what that says. I have no idea, because you should get responses. You want to encourage a two-way conversation with your audience, right? That's like if I did this presentation and then didn't even acknowledge that there's comments coming in. I just ignored you guys, right? So are we encouraging two-way conversation? So, because I could turn this into a survey, right? I could start asking you guys, where are you stuck right now? How can I serve you the most? And even just the fact that you guys ask me questions allows me to look at like, oh, that's what I didn't address on the call. So we're constantly doing it. Constantly like, okay, where are they at? What do they need? Where are they struggling, right? Merlina said, would surveys help to narrow down which niche to target when you have a product that seems to be relevant to sell? Absolutely it would. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Which is the first product you should go, which is why we haven't talked about an offer yet. This is all the foundational stuff. Very good. Okay, let me refresh again and see what more questions come up. See what we got. Okay, Carla, I'm gonna encourage you to go through my PDF and just that I've included and just see. I mean, I would just have them say hit reply to this email. And do a survey. Broadcast your list following the template. There should be a good template for you, or some training of a template in the PDF on this page, and try again. Because there should be. I am curious to know what your niche is. If you can type in your niche as well. But I'm curious why 530 people you're not getting a single response. That sounds bizarre to me. Ben, every once in a while I'll get some spam mail from my contact box on a website offering to pay for email lists. Oh yeah, I would junk that. Yep, I'm Ben, listen to your gut on that one. I've never done anything like that, and I wouldn't suggest it. Misha, you are welcome. Julia, think discount better loyalty points is fine on physical products in exchange for a review. Yeah, I wouldn't discount on digital products. Landy, seeing and hearing you weekly is a huge inspiration. Thanks, Landy. Thank you for doing this. I've tuned in every week, and whenever I know you're live. That's so awesome. You're amazing. Nat says, question from last session. What is the difference between one-on-one coaching versus a coaching package? Is coaching package the same as group coaching? No. Great question. One-on-one coaching is a coaching package. It's the same thing. This is huge. We talked about this last week. This is about the mistake people make when they offer coaching, which I encourage it if you're just like looking to get started. But then we want to scale beyond that, is most people do coaching by the hour. So they'll be like, well, yeah, if you want to coach, each session is like $100 an hour. And when you do that, you break the very laws of business that you're trying to avoid. We get into business so we can stop trading time for dollars, and now we find ourselves just doing the same thing, right? And maybe you're trading time for more dollars, but you're still trading time for dollars. So a coaching package is the way in which you offer your coaching that breaks the link between time and money. So it's not about the time anymore. It's about the result. So for example, I could go to Nat and I could say, listen, I can really help you create a coaching package. Okay, that's what you need help with. Now, you can work for me and it's $100 an hour. So chances are you're going to just choose an hour and hope that you get everything in that 1 hour. And I said, for what we're going to do, this is the other way. I said, what we're going to do is for the next 90 days, we're going to work together one-on-one to develop your own coaching package, and we're going to help you sell $20,000 worth of it. And so in that 90-day package, it's $2,000 to do that. Okay. I just went from $100 to $2,000, right? And so I'm going to make more money, but I'm probably not going to work that many more hours. When you find out in 90 days, it could be like, we're going to do 2 calls a month. Okay. So now we're doing 6 hours. So it's still far more than $100 an hour I'm making, right? Like $250 or something like that. Does that make sense? That's the difference between saying, hey, it's $100 per hour, or I have a 90-day coaching that we're going to do, or even just a 90-minute, I would just get rid of hourly time. We're going to work together in a few sessions in order to accomplish this result. I hope that makes sense. Let me do a few more, guys. Thank you, Randy. Luis says, awesome podcast this week. Thank you. Make sure to check out the podcast this week, mindyourbusinesspodcast.com. Fantastic episode just went live, talking about subconscious reprogramming in order to change beliefs, behaviors, and habits. It's unbelievable. It's one of my favorite episodes. You guys are going to love it. It's worth listening to. So put that on your listen list this week. Okay, let me do one more little refresh here. See if there's any more that have come in. Yeah, Jason said, yeah, Jim Fortin is amazing. I know, so good. Mel said hourly billing should be burned at the stake. Yes. Yeah, see, Carla, your niche has a ton of desperation in it. They should be reaching out like crazy to talk about it. Helping parents help children with anxiety. Like when they really get that you care and you can help them, they're going to want to talk to you. Just make it easy to talk to them. Yeah, Nat said, should we give them a lead magnet just to give them the survey? No, I actually advised against this. Just give it to them directly. Do nothing to incentivize them. No $5 iTunes gift cards or anything like that. Awesome. Okay. I think that's about it. All right. Great questions. This is a great conversation. Surveying is absolutely essential discipline. So please make sure you do that this week. That is your action item. It's so easy. And the PDF you're getting alongside of this that was posted in the group is just going to make this so simple for you. Just follow the step-by-step instructions, okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't gotten caught up, this is the time to do it, because we only have 2 more trainings after this, and they build upon everything that we've been doing. It's going to help you create the right offer from this, and it's going to help you create the right way to sell your offer. It's going to all get tied in beautifully with a nice, neat little bow, and I think you guys are going to really love it. 2 weeks left in our 8-week training program. Thank you guys to everyone, even if you've only tuned in for one, but especially those who've been here each and every time. You guys are amazing, and I'm just really excited to be able to do this. I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are as well. And if any other questions come up, go ahead and type them in below. Remember, past recordings, past trainings are now in the members area, and that link to join for free is pinned at the top of this Facebook group. With that, I am out of here. So have a fantastic week, everybody, and I'll see you next Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Take care. The official recording. So we are now officially recording. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 8 of our 8-week live training. It has been such a blast, and I'm not good at goodbyes, so I don't know how I'm going to end this. I hate goodbyes. I really do. We've been calling this program Momentum because that's what it's about. Who here has started to see momentum, started to experience momentum? That 0 to 5 miles an hour, let me tell you this, guys, is the hardest piece. Once you have momentum, it gets easier and easier and easier. It's going from 0 to 5, right? And that's what this course was intended to do. For those who are like, man, I really want to do this, but man, I feel stuck. I feel like I haven't really gotten started yet. I haven't really dove in there. And that's really what I wanted to do, is start at the beginning and push you into gear. This is all about how to launch your wildly profitable digital product business. If you have an expertise, knowledge, experience, wisdom, value to deliver to the world, a framework, a philosophy, something that can help people, and you want it to reach more people beyond a one-to-one basis, that's what this is all about. That's what I've been able to do. Reach thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people all over the world, and I'm just this awkward, shy, introvert kid that is uncomfortable talking to people. So if I can do it, you guys can. And you also know this has been a pitch-free, fluff-free experience. There's nothing for sale here. This is it. This is the last one. Oh God, I'm gonna cry. All right. So look, this is the agenda from the last 8 weeks. We talked about your niche, the essential web properties that you need, creating a content plan, how to hire help so you're not doing this alone, VAs for $2 to $3 an hour, how to start building your list and get paid while you do it, and then how to create the perfect offer, what they really want, and how to monetize, how to create a monetization plan. Like, how am I going to actually package this in a way that people will happily pay me? And now we have to do the final piece, which is to actually get paid, a sales system. Whew. Important stuff here. So this is what we're talking about today. All right, if you guys are ready, we're jumping right in. Okay. All right, I love this. Field of Dreams. Great movie, right? So I always start with this. The mistake I see so often, and I get so passionately frustrated by this. It sounds like frustration, but it's just a lot of love and passion. It's just like the mom when they're driving the car and they see their child is taking off their seatbelt in the back seat and they're jumping around the back, and the mom turns around and yells at their child and says, "Put your seatbelt back on," right? The mom's not angry. She just loves her child so much that she wants her child to be safe, right? So sometimes this comes across as frustration.
It's just love. That's all it is. I see so many people, and this was me 10 years ago, so I made this mistake. Don't make this mistake. They'll spend 6 months, 8 months, a year, half their lifetime creating that perfect course. All the best content, best design with the amazing slides and video, and look at how amazing this will be, the best course ever created in the world. And then they put it on there and they say, here it is for sale. They're exhausted. They got no gas left in the tank and no sales come. So, that voice in Field of Dreams was, if you build it, they will come. And we tend to take that belief system, that philosophy into business. And that ain't going to work. They will not come. The quicker you realize that, a couple things, but one of it is that your job now, you're the expert, you know your stuff, and you know it better than anyone else. Your job now is you have to master marketing. And I really want you to get that your job now as a business owner, a teacher, a coach, is you got to get darn good at marketing, because putting a website and add to cart button on the internet is not marketing. And if that's all you do, they are not coming. They will not come. So that's what creating a sales system is all about. It's a strategic way for turning our audience, our fans, our leads, our subscribers, our peeps into happy customers. There is a very specific way it's done, and we're going to show you how today. However, let me show you the contrast to this. Has anyone seen the purple pillow? The world's first no-pressure bed for your head. So let me know. Is anyone just type in? I'm going to see if I'm alone in this, or if everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love that pillow. So I bought this pillow, and let me see if I can see your guys' comments too. Oops. I can hearing myself twice is just more than enough. Okay. All right. So check this out. So I see a video for this. Unbelievable video. Like, it was so well done. I do highly recommend it. And within 5 minutes, I'm on the website, and I've now spent $200 with them. I bought the first one, and then I came back and I bought my wife one. So we've bought 2 purple pillows. Then I actually bought a purple cushion, and now we're really scratching our head to think, should we go ahead and get the bed? All right. We just bought a bed like a year ago. So it's like, do we do this again? Okay. All right. So yeah. So Matthew says, yes, I love their commercials, but I haven't tried it. Okay. So here's the deal. I think their marketing, their website, and everything they do is top notch. I love when I see companies that just know what they're doing. I mean, everything about this is so good. The copy's good. The branding's good. The flow is good. The navigation, all of it is great. But here's something that you need to notice is that there's a headline, there's 4 bullet points, and there's a buy now button. And I bought. So it worked. But not for you. You're not selling pillows. You're not selling physical products. And that's what we have to understand. I said this last week. People don't want a course. People do want a pillow. People do want a pillow that they love, that is comfortable, that fits their head and helps with neck and back pain, whatever, right? So they're looking for a pillow, but no one's looking for a course. Okay? So if someone's looking for a pillow, they can read a few bullet points, see a picture, watch a video, and they can buy. What people try and do is they try and make a page like this and just think that if, look at this is at the top of the page, there's a green buy now button. It's 4 lines, a headline, and a buy now button. And people try and do that with their online course, and they say, it's not working. And again, it goes back to what we said last week. People do not buy or they don't want online courses, right? So this is an example of phenomenal marketing, great branding, perfect. Like if I were to grade them, like I give them 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, right? But we can't follow this. We really can't. And don't worry, I'm going to show you. But I'm going to show you something else that's really cool. Look, I went to Amazon. Pillows. I just typed in pillow, and the best seller, the most expensive one is $55, but most of them are like under 40. The purple pillow is $100 pillow. I bought 2 of them. So it's more than double, sometimes triple the price of the average pillow. That's what you get with good marketing and branding. But we have to do better than this. I'm not trying to discourage you guys or be negative, but we've got to be better than this. We can't just do 4 bullet points and a buy now button with our course. Okay. But notice what great branding and a great product can do. Now, you guys are already going to create great products. There's no question that, because you're going to put your heart and soul and all your experience and wisdom into it and your unique perspective. But you need to have a great product and great marketing. And it's going to start with understanding what this whole sales system is all about. So does this make sense, guys? Like, this is well done, but we can't follow this. Okay. Because we're not selling physical products. We're selling information. So we got to take a look at your sales system. It's not a sales page. It's a sales system. That was just a sales page. They just use a page to sell. That's their sales system. Our sales system is a series of pages and moving parts. It kind of looks like this machine here, right? So what we have is we have an input and an output. We have something that goes into the machine or into the system and something that comes out. That's the metaphor I want to use here, right? So you put your peeps into the machine and the machine will spit out happy, awesome, amazing, paying customers. That's your sales system, right? Not a page. It's not an add to cart button. It's a system of interlocking, moving pieces that work together to take an audience member, a subscriber, a lead, whatever, and turn them into a customer. And the quicker you can understand how this works, the better. Now, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I get that because I see people who do webinars, video series, funnels, launches, tripwires, challenges, blah, 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 blah. But what you have to understand is that if you're on the outside looking in, it's the whole iceberg analogy. And I know you guys have seen this picture before. You see that, you go, oh, yeah, he just did a webinar. I can do a webinar. And then you do a webinar and you say, webinars don't work. It's like, okay, well, I'll try this tripwire thing. And you say, oh, I've seen a guy do a tripwire, so I'll do a tripwire. No, tripwires don't work. And that's because you're only looking at what's above the surface of the iceberg. And you're not understanding what's below. Now, I'm not accusing everyone of this. I'm just saying if you've tried this and it didn't work, it's because you didn't see what was below. So that's exactly what we're going to do, right? Let me just give you that visual again for a second. It's far more important, and I'm always far more concerned with what's going on beneath the surface. The principles, the fundamentals, what's the word I'm looking for? Never changing, unwavering truths about marketing, about business, about influence, and about people. Okay. Look, one day we're going to be doing like holographic 3D virtual reality launches. Those things will always change, but what's going on beneath the surface will never change. So most people then end up chasing the things that change. And it's just like they create this like marketing treadmill. That's why people are overwhelmed. That's why people are so overwhelmed, because they're chasing the newest little tactic and thing that's going to change in 6 months anyways. And they've never, ever understood what's beneath the surface. Is this making sense? We understand what's going on there. It doesn't matter if it's a webinar. It doesn't matter if it's a 3D hologram of Princess Leia saying, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. Knew I could get a Star Wars reference in there. All right, so here's how we're going to reveal what's inside the inner workings of your sales system in 4 steps, okay? Whether it's a video thing, whether it's a funnel, whether it's an automated webinar, whether it's emails. We did it just like this, these steps I'm about to reveal. We did this in email-only campaign this summer, and it was wildly successful to my existing list. Just emails. It was only emails. Email only. Okay? So it doesn't matter. The medium is far less relevant than the principles and fundamentals at play. So here's how I try and make it as simple as possible. 4 steps. Free experience, plus an offer, minus objections, plus a deadline. And if you've been in my community for a while, you've probably seen this before, but we're going to go deeper with this so you really understand it. Free experience plus an offer, minus objections, plus a deadline. Those are the 4 things that we're looking at. And I'm just going to spend today breaking those down, but I'm primarily focused on this free experience. And the word experience is something I want to have you highlight, underline, and star, because people kind of think it's just free content. And no. It's free experience. You begin to elevate yourself away from the noise and the competition when you can provide an experience far more than just more content. Anybody can create content. Someone can just copy and paste your stuff. But when you create an experience, you separate yourself, become memorable. Okay? This has been a bit of an experience for you guys, hasn't it? Have you guys started to get into a routine? Some of you, like, it's Monday morning, it's my time with James. It's an experience. Okay? Now, it doesn't need to be live video to be an experience. So don't get caught in the tactics for a moment. Stay in principle. Pull back. It's like you're in an airplane 50,000 feet over your business right now. Okay? So free experience plus an offer minus objections plus a deadline. We're going to go over all these, but I want to spend most of my time on the free experience because I think this is the most valuable piece of it all. So again, yes, this could be a webinar. This could be videos. This could be a challenge. This could be emails, whatever. But here's what's really going on. First of all, we always start with their problem. And notice a couple things. It's their problem, which means it's how they describe it. This is really, really important. How they communicate the problem. So something to write down and just kind of ask yourself, quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. Mr. T-Dog Robbins. We want to ask some good questions. So what are they saying about this problem? How do they communicate this problem? How do they communicate this problem? And then you want to identify both the external and the internal. So the external is what we can see with our eyes. Like, I don't have enough money in the bank account. I'm not making enough sales. I don't have enough customers. Those are very tangible things. Okay. Internal is then what we say to ourselves about that. So it's the voice in our head. It's the thoughts that we think and the feelings we then have. So what do they say to themselves when they have this problem? And how does that make them feel? External and internal. You lead with the external and you agitate with the internal. And when you can tap into both of those, you create empathy. You create rapport. You create a connection. Okay. But you have to start with their problem. And I'm going to give you an example of this. And this actually is really relevant. It just happened in our paid members group with a student in Business by Design. So years ago, some of you guys know this, I was in a dating and relationship space. I don't know anything about dating. So I was doing the marketing for it with the relationship coach. And one of the products was a product on how to get your ex back. And someone else in Business by Design is doing the same thing. And so he came to me and he said something along the lines of like, hey, I'm helping people who have just got dumped how to survive a breakup. And I said, they don't want to survive a breakup. When they get dumped, they want to get their ex back. And he goes to me and he says, yeah, but that's probably not best for them. They should move on. It would be better if they moved on. And I said, that's where you will struggle, because you just described your perception of their problem, not their problem. They don't want to survive a breakup. They want to get their ex back. And this is totally proven with data. There's market research that can be done on Google keyword research, even just on YouTube searches. Like if you do a search for how to survive a breakup, you're going to get far less views than if you say how to get your ex back. So you have to start in their world, how they describe their problem. And I said, look, once you get them in, then you can help them survive. But they're not saying, how do I survive this breakup? They don't walk around saying that. They say, oh my gosh, I just got my heart ripped out of my chest. I want this person back so I can put my heart back in my chest. How do I get them back? They think that's the answer. Okay. See, the better you are at what you do, in terms of like, the more of an expert you are, the more effective of a coach you are, chances are the more out of touch you are with your audience, because you're so much in the place of what they need versus not what they think they need. You know what they need. They don't. And you have to start with where they are at. Okay? You guys get that? I'm spending a lot of time on this one because this is where, if you don't connect here to their problem, everything else after it doesn't really matter. And then people say, I did a webinar and it doesn't work. The webinar works just fine. All right. That's number one. Now, number two, I'm going to drop some more knowledge bombs on you. The next thing we really want to do is we want to present what is called the vehicle of transformation. This is also where people just get it wrong. Let me explain what this vehicle of transformation is. When you're clear and we get on the same page with our audience with what their problem is, there's something that's going to get them out of the problem and into the transformation. The transformation is the result, the solution, as I call, the happily ever after. And there's something that's going to get them there. And the biggest problem people must do in their marketing and fall very short with is they say that their product or them or their coaching is the vehicle. And that's not nearly as effective as if you say there is something that is the vehicle. So, for example, you come to me and you say, James, I've been teaching. I'm a dog trainer, and I love dog training, and I've been doing it my whole life. I'm really good at it. I work locally in my community, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm getting a little burnt out on it, because I just kind of barely get by. Even though I'm the best, I just barely get by financially. And I'm getting older, and I don't have the energy that I once did. I can't really take on any more clients, any more dogs. In fact, I'd really like to work a little less, but I can't afford to do that right now because then my income will go down. Okay, so that's their problem, right? And that's how they describe the problem. Now, the mistake people make is say, "Oh, I have a course called Momentum, and or I have a course called Business by Design, and you should like totally take it because that'll solve all your problems." Right? Instead, I would say, "Have you ever thought about creating an online course?" What? What do you mean? Like, well, imagine if we could just like film some videos of you doing what you do with your individual clients, and we package that up and put it on the internet. And now we could, with the right sales system, we could start selling that to people everywhere, not even just in your county or your state, but the world. Is that something that would be interesting to you? And I go, well, let's do the math for a moment. Let's say you sell this thing for $100. It takes you a few weeks to create the course. You sell it for $100, and then you start making a sale a day, or a couple a week. Would that make a difference for you? Would that kind of replace some of that income that you would be lost if you worked less? Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I'd love that. That'd be so exciting, right? So the vehicle becomes selling an online course. Online course becomes the vehicle. Notice that as soon as they have something, they go, oh yeah, okay. Oh, wait. So that's the vehicle. Okay. What is your vehicle? What is the thing, the framework, the strategy, the tool that's going to take them to the transformation? What you then need to do, as I already started to do, is prove that your vehicle is the vehicle. I don't know. I've never heard of it. Like that sounds so foreign to me. Like, look, let me introduce you to a few of my friends that are making millions with their online courses. Okay. Did you know that the information industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry now, and it's been going on the rise in the last couple of years. Okay, so I start making a case why online courses is the vehicle to get them out of their problem and into their transformation. Okay, so that's proving your vehicle is the vehicle. Proof through case studies, market data, statistics, relevant information, case studies of other of other people in other industries doing what you're talking about. Okay, and then they go, well, that's great, but, and anything that comes after that is called an objection. They go, hey, that's great, but that couldn't work for me because I'm not technical. See, you could give all the proof in the world about why an online course is great. They go, I'm not a really big internet person. Or I just, I don't have the time. I don't know how to get started, right? All those objections. And you want to start to destroy the objections they have about the vehicle. And then you can share some of the what essentials. Like, here's what you would need to do. Here's what you'd need. Here's what is important. And ultimately, you're creating desire for the vehicle. So if you were to create a free experience, this is what goes in the free experience. The big mistake people make is they hop on a webinar and they just start teaching and overwhelming the crap out of people for an hour with a ton of content. And then there's like nothing left at the end. And people are like, nothing left that's in your course. And then people are like, at the end of the webinar, that was a great webinar. Peace. Thanks. And so we make the mistake and assume that people are much further along than they are. And a lot of times we have to stop, slow down, and demonstrate and convince them why this is the plan that they need. This is the vehicle that they need. Is this making sense? This is what needs to happen in the free experience phrase. What's up, Mel, Lisa, Jack, Cindy, Christiane, sorry. Sorry, Christiane. Okay, cool. All right, so here's another way to look at this. They have their problem. Once upon a time, there was a prospect who was struggling with problem, internal, external. They didn't have this, and it made them feel that. And then this is and they lived happily ever after, right? They finally got result, tangible result. Write that down. Transformation, tangible result. Concrete, specific result. Pausing for effect. Okay, so that's what we call in between here is the gap. The gap is I want something that I don't have. Here I am right now. That's where I want to be. It's the simplest version of this is when you see those before and after photos at the 2 a.m. fitness infomercials for the ab roller X or whatever, right? Like, here I was 250 pounds. Now I'm 85. Right? Here I am with my six pack. You see the before, and they're all like sad and bad lighting, and then afterwards, and they're all happy and great shape. Before and after. That's the simplest way to look at it. It's before, after. All right. So in the fitness space, you don't only I think people that are really standing out in the fitness space, when I see copy there, they're not just painting the like, oh, I got that stubborn 20 pounds to lose. I can't seem to lose that final 20 pounds, blah, blah, blah. They're also talking about the internal struggle of what that's like. The back and forth. And you all know what I'm talking about because we all have that internal monkey mind, that voice that we battle with, the emotions of how we feel, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment, the fear, all that. And when you start to acknowledge that in people, it actually feels really good because they say, hey, this person gets me and I'm not alone. And so there becomes hope for them. So a lot of people say, yeah, you need to agitate the problem. And then people are like, see, that's really messed up. And it's like, look, we're not agitating the problem. We're getting present to it. Because hold on, my alarm goes off. Because what happens is people walk around in what I call an I'm fine coma. They try to survive the pain that they're in. They try and just build a tolerance up to it and go, I'm fine. I'm okay, right? Have you ever had like a back pain or knee pain and like you notice it's kind of been there for a day, but you try to ignore it? And you're like pretending it's not there, but it's there. Like people do that their entire lives. And this is our opportunity to wake them up a little bit and say, like, if you've been feeling this and it feels like that, and you've been saying to yourself this, and you're worried about this, you're not alone, and there's hope. We can fix this. We can change this. Here's how. Okay. And they go, oh, really? I just thought I had to live with this. Okay. So there's this gap before and after, right? And then we have, I don't know, this is the most random image I could find. We have your vehicle, the thing that's going to get them there. And your vehicle is not your course. So again, I'm just repeating what I said on the previous slide, and I'm using a visual to get you there. Okay. And then we have, I used a wavy line because this is what I call ARG, the sea of objections. And this is my pirate impression. ARG, we got to cross the sea of objections, matey. Or we'll lose you to Davy's locker. Did I do that okay? All right. So that's what we have to do is that's ultimately what we're doing with our audience. We're saying, hey, you're over here and you got this problem, but if you use this thing, it's going to really help. And then they're going to say, okay, that's great, but I don't know about this, and I'm not this, and I'm not that. And we have to navigate that. We have to address those objections. Okay. So that is the free experience. Okay. Now it's high level. I understand, but I want you to just make sure you've taken, I'm just went back a slide, taken a screenshot of this or whatever, that in your free experience, be it a webinar, a challenge, emails, a video series, it doesn't matter. This is the high level process of what we're going through. You create rapport, empathy, and connection when you speak to the external and internal struggles and problems and frustrations, wants and desires that they have that are not fulfilled. And then you present the vehicle that's going to get them there. I'm going to give you a great example right now. You prove that this vehicle is the vehicle. You destroy the vehicle objections. You share the what essentials, and then you create that desire for the vehicle. You should be creating desire for the vehicle the whole time. I just added that at the end. All right, so here's an example. Someone comes to me and they say, I want to reach more people. I want to reach more people. So I could say, and this is what I've been doing for years, a lot of you guys know me as someone who's been teaching YouTube marketing to small businesses. So I say, if you've been struggling to reach more people or more of the right people, and you're spending all day on social media trying to be more popular, and you're getting little results for it, you feel like you're spending more time posting and sharing and retweeting and uploading to Instagram and Facebook than you are actually serving your customers, you're in the right place. Okay. So I'm talking to the problem, and that's step one. Then I say, I'm going to show you how to use simple videos on YouTube to get found 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by your ideal customers who are actively searching for you. So I present the vehicle as simple videos on YouTube or YouTube. YouTube, it's not my course, it's YouTube is the vehicle to transformation. Guys, I've been doing this for years, and I've sold millions of dollars of a $97 YouTube course. So please listen to what I'm saying here, okay? Then what I have to do is I have to prove that YouTube is the right way, because I know my audience is saying, well, I've heard about YouTube, but I've also heard about Instagram. I've also heard about using LinkedIn. I've also, every different vehicle. And I have to convince them, I have to demonstrate that YouTube is the path. It's the plan. So first I share market data. I say things that say, hey, by 2018, they're saying that 70% of all traffic is going to be video based. YouTube has this many viewers or this many views, this many users, whatever the most recent stats are. It's owned by Google. It's the #2 search engine. 60% of, there's so many amazing stats about YouTube. It makes my job really easy. 60% of all views are search driven, which means people are watching videos to search for answers to their biggest questions, right? So all this data starts to get people to think like, wow, this makes sense. I should totally be putting videos on there, right? And then I could say, let me introduce you to a client of mine. Let me show you some case studies. Let me show you how big brands have moved to YouTube. Let me show you the results I'm getting with YouTube. Okay, so that's number 3. And then you could say, now I know what you're thinking. Video takes a lot of time. That's my big objection. It's too much time. Takes too much time, right? Well, then that's an easy one for me because I address that and I say, look, there's different ways that you can address objections. Now, one of my favorite ways to address an objection is to actually agree with it. So someone comes to me and they say, YouTube's great, James, but I can upload something on Instagram in like 15 seconds. And I tried making a video and it took me like 15 hours. So here's what I say. I say, look, you're right. YouTube will always take you more time than Instagram or Facebook. But here's my question for you. What are your posts on Facebook? What are your images on Instagram that are 6 months old doing for you today? I go, what do you mean? I go, are they still working for you? Are people still viewing images that you posted a year ago? So you're caught in this trap where it's less time, but you're on the posting treadmill. You're on a posting treadmill. And every day you got to keep posting. Every day you got to think of something new. And as soon as you post it, 2 days from now, it's gone. Am I right? Like, are people still commenting on your stuff from 6 weeks ago? And then I go, look, here's a video from 8 years ago, that I posted. And it's still getting 10,000 views a month. Every month from an 8-year-old video, it still gets these views and comments and shares and likes and clicks. People are clicking to my website from it. So video is going to take longer, but it's going to work for longer. So you have to be able to address all those objections. James, I don't want to be in front of the camera. Great, I don't blame you. Here's how to make a video where you're not in front of the camera. Okay. And then I share the what essential. So like, here's what you need to look at. You need to make great videos that follow this template. You need to optimize the video for these specific things. And then you need to create a weekly plan. So you're constantly uploading the right content. So when I do that, this is very important, guys. When I tell them what they need, my course, my coaching program, my membership, whatever it is going to show them how to do those things. And when I do all that, everything, steps 1 through 5, will actually be creating desire for YouTube. Does this make sense with the example? Does that help? Okay. You got a problem. I'm not reaching enough people. I'm not getting enough customers. Imagine if you could get people to watch you, see you every day, search for you, and find you over your competitors so you're getting new leads and sales on autopilot. I'm going to show you how to do that with YouTube. But James, I have all these objections. You got to traverse the sea of objections, prove the vehicle to them. And if you can, you've got a happy customer who's like, okay, I'm sold. What do I need to do next? All right. You've given them a plan. That's the free experience. Makes sense. Good. Carla, Nemi, you guys are awesome. Pamela said the example is very helpful. Lisa says, I write copy for a living, and she's really good. And this is the greatest description, so listen up. Awesome. Landy, perfectly clear, proving the vehicle, best and most critical part. Yes. Okay, so once you've done that in a sales system, that's like the 90%, but there's still more. We got to present the offer. So I haven't presented, if you went through my example, I didn't say anything about my course. I didn't present an offer yet. Once you've done that, once they're at a place where they go, oh my gosh, I need to use this vehicle. This vehicle is the answer. Then you go, if you want to know how to use this vehicle, I've got the whole system here for you. Okay. And that's your offer. Now, offer, we're not going to go too deep into this right now, but here's the high level of it. An offer consists of the promise, the process, and the price. The P cubed. The promise. What is the problem you're solving? And the transformation. It's just a combination of what was on the before and after. If you're struggling, if you're this type of person who's struggling with this and you want this program will help. So my YouTube course is the complete A to Z system for small business owners and online entrepreneurs who want to create simple videos and get them ranked at the top of YouTube and Google for more views, leads, and sales. That's the promise. The process is the how you're going to deliver it. And this is far less important than the 1 and the 3. The promise is always most important. The process is, a series of online video training or online videos, right? Training videos that you have 24 hours access, 7 days a week, lifetime access. The process is, what is the delivery mechanism? And that's what we talked about last week. How are you going to deliver this? Membership site, group coaching, one-on-one, consult, whatever, right? And the price is how much. And there is a whole additional conversation we could have around pricing. We've started to talk a little bit about pricing. I'm always going to be a fan of be the premium priced person in the marketplace. Things rarely went bad because people raised their prices. But here's what you do have to do. This is the only thing I'll say about price today. Whatever your price is, throw your price out there. You better convey minimum, and this is a minimum 10x the value. 10x the value. So here's like the analogy I'll leave you with. $1,000. Is that a lot of money or a little? Can someone type that in? Is $1,000 a lot or a little? Just type in whatever comes to mind for you. Is that a lot of money? I'm going to wait to see if I get some comments in. Hopefully I'm getting them. Cool. So people are saying good. I know there's a delay, so it takes a while. Okay, so look, we already have someone who says a lot, and then we have someone who says a little, and then of course people are saying depends. No, right? Okay, well, so who's right? Is Elena right or is Michelle right? Is Victoria right or is Nath right? Is Sharon right or Nemi? Is Amy? Who's right here? Compared to what? Right? Exactly. So the answer is it depends, or it is relative, because $1,000. What if I told you that I'm selling my 2016 Lamborghini for $1,000, brand new? It's got less than 500 miles on it. Now, even if you thought Lamborghinis are the most ridiculously stupid looking cars on the planet, wouldn't you still buy it for $1,000? Because you could flip it. Right? You'd be dumb to not buy it. Now, even if you only had $1,000 in your bank account, the last $1,000, would you buy that car? If I'm selling a brand new Lamborghini for $1,000, all of a sudden, and I don't even have to tell you how much a Lamborghini costs, because they've already done a good job of communicating their value. All of a sudden, you're like, yeah, even if you didn't have $1,000, wouldn't you find a way to get $1,000? You're like, look, I'm going to go to a friend, I'm going to borrow the money, and then I'm going to split it, the profits halfway with you, right? When we sell this thing, okay? The value is there, and pricing is all relative. So what if it's $1,000 for a candy bar? What if it's $1,000 for this pen? That's crazy, right? $1,000 for a pen. So now it is a lot of money. In the other case, it wasn't. So price is always relative. And so our job is to communicate our product. And this is up to you. No one's going to do this for you. You don't think Lamborghini like just accidentally got perceived as that high value of a luxury automobile. Like it was like an accident. Like they know what they're doing, right? So it's up to you to communicate the value at the level of like a Lamborghini. I'm not talking about the branding. I'm talking about that inherent value. You don't have to like a Lamborghini to get the analogy, right? Okay. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to convince the people, if you sell your course for $1,000, you're trying to convince people that it's worth $1,000. You do that, you failed. I'll tell you that right now. If you sell a $1,000 course and you try and convince people that it's worth $1,000, you will not make a single sale. Why? Just go back to the Lamborghini analogy. You didn't buy the Lamborghini for $1,000 because you know it's worth $1,000. You know it's worth $250,000. So buying it for $1,000 was a no-brainer. You must demonstrate the value as a minimum of 10x the price. Promise, process, price. That's the offer. We got to make sure that we destroy any other objections that come up. So once you make the offer, they're going to have more objections. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think this will work. I don't think you can teach this, blah, 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 blah. All the objections on the planet, right? And you need to be able to address those objections. The yeah, but elephants in the room. Chances are, if you've, look, here's the best part. If you've done everything up until this point, the only thing that's going to keep people from buying is this right here. And here's my fantastic example. How are we doing on time, by the way? Sweet. Okay, I'm almost done. All right. So you remember like stories of like in the 1920s, the like snake oil salesman who would like come to the old Western town or whatever and have like this bottle and be like, drink this elixir and it'll make you lose 20 pounds overnight. And people back then just went, okay, right? They had a low level of market sophistication. They just assumed that if you said it was going to do this thing, that it will, and they bought it and they realized it was a scam. So over 100 years, minimum of evolution of entrepreneurs in the country, people have developed a little bit more skepticism, a level of maturity and, doubt, which is very good and is very healthy. But the point is that there's that voice in their head that continues to tell them, yeah, but, or no. So that's ultimately the only thing that's left standing in the way. If you say, hey, this thing can help, here's what it'll do for you, and here's how much it is, and they have that problem and they want it solved, the only thing left standing in their way are these objections. And if you can individually, one by one, dissolve them, destroy them, pluck them out of existence, and show them that those are not accurate without making that person feel like an idiot for having those true, real objections, you're going to get the sale. And the only thing left in that case is, you don't have to use the word deadline here. You could call it a live line. No, it doesn't have to be a deadline, but it has to be based on this concept of, this is very important, very clear on this, people won't buy your thing until they have a reason to buy it now. So it doesn't have to be a deadline. It could be like a limited amount of seats or copies. Like, hey, we're doing a live event for BBD, Business by Design members, and we offered a VIP experience, but we limited the amount of VIPs. So like on the sales page, there's only like 4 or 5 spots left. When you see that there's only 4 spots left and you want to do it, you're going to be more motivated to buy now. But if there were infinite seats available and you have all the time in the world to do it, you may never even do it because you're like, yeah, I totally want to go, but nothing really compelled you to do it. You have no idea if anybody who's ever done any type of launch or promotion before and you didn't offer anything that created urgency or scarcity or gave them a reason to buy now, you have no idea how many people have in their mind said, yeah, I want this and I totally need it, and they didn't buy it. How many things are in your Amazon wish list right now? I have like 3 Amazon wish lists, right? And those are for physical products, which, like I said, are different. All right. So those are the 4 big components. That's what's going on in the sales system. You got a free experience, you present your offer, you address all the objections, and you shut it down. Okay. So you overlay that in a webinar, in a video series, in a funnel, in a launch, in a tripwire, in a challenge, whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter because I think it's important that you choose the medium that resonates with your audience. Some people don't. Some audiences aren't going to like webinars as much as they like a video series, you know. But a lot of these are really universal, in my opinion. So a lot of people go, "What's the right one? Should I do a webinar? Should I do a video series? Should I do a funnel? Should I do this? Should I do this?" And then they get stuck in this analysis by paralysis. And I say, look, understand the principles, understand what's really going on, and it really doesn't matter. I've sold over the phone. I've sold in person. I've sold on stage. I've sold in an email. I've sold in videos. I've sold on webinars. I've sold on Facebook Lives. I have not done a challenge. I've just sold. What else have I done? I've done tripwires. I've done automated things, all kinds of automated funnels and promotions. I've done it all, but I never change those 4 ingredients that I gave you. Okay, does this help? The system, the sales machine is always the same underneath the surface. And when you know it, you get to be that smart guy or gal. I love that meme. Okay. I guess it'd be you. All right. Now you know what's going on. I've logged in from another device. Uh-oh. So I might have to go because we have a Zoom call at 9 a.m. Listen. Oh, shoot. Can you guys still see me? Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. I got totally logged out because my team is... No, did I get... Am I still live? Can I get someone to comment? I'm almost done. Okay, good. That's so weird. We can't be logged in too. Sorry, guys. Okay, they're logged out. Okay, all right. I hope you guys can still see me. I hope it's still recording. Otherwise, you got the recording the way. Okay, look, that's it. I'm done. It is just about the top of the hour, and I do have a team meeting that I cannot miss. But leave all your questions, and we'll do. I'm going to do a final Q&A later this week, and I'll probably post a new post. But put those questions in. I want to let you guys know what's coming next. We are releasing our live workshop training, what I call the power of process. It's coming September 28th. You want to mark that on your calendars. You want to get ready for this. Some of you guys have seen this, but a lot of you guys haven't. And it takes you from the next step here. It really is on how to develop your own sales system for how to sell your courses, your workshops, your group coaching, your consulting, whatever it is that you are offering and gifting to the world, the way that you want to do it and the way that works for you. That's all what Business by Design is. This is a free workshop, September 28th. That's like in a week, next week, I believe, end of next week, Thursday of next week. So, guys, I hope you got some value out of today. I got about another minute, and then I got to log off. Sorry about the little technical difficulty. But I do want to hop on my team meeting. So type in those questions below, whatever you got for me. And again, this is the end, but I will do a live Q&A just to give my final sending off love and goodbyes and all that stuff. I hate goodbyes, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for starting your week out right with me. I hope you got a ton of value in this. I do not have an action item or homework for you other than to begin to map out your free experience. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Post those. I'll post a new post and to post your questions, and we'll take it from there. All right. Peace.
Record on this bit. Okay, so we are officially recording. That's good. You never want to miss the recording. So, oops. Let me share my screen. And we can begin. Okay, this is it. This is it, folks. Week number 5 of an 8-week live training course that I'm doing for you. Calling it Momentum, because that's exactly what it's designed to do, is help you go from zero inertia to gaining momentum and experiencing progress. And today's topic is crucial. This is essential. There's a reason why I put this right in the middle of the training, okay? So this whole 8-week training is designed to help you finally launch your wildly profitable digital product business, even if you've got no idea what you're doing. So like the individual I just got the question with, is this a good niche? That's where a lot of people are at, right? Is this a good niche? I want to help you guys with that. I encourage those questions. I encourage you to go through module 1, because the last thing we want to do is spend 6 months or a year in the wrong niche. In fact, let's talk about that for a moment before we jump into today. Okay, so I go off on little side tangents. It happens. You got to deal with it. You just got to deal with it. Okay, so I can imagine that for a lot of you, the hesitation for jumping in, for getting started, for burning the boats, as they say, is there is a fear that you'll be wasting your time. Is that true for anybody? That I don't know that if this is a sure thing. And the last thing I'd want to do is waste 6 months of my life on an idea that I don't even know if it's a great idea. I can't tell you how many people tell me that. Does that resonate with you? Or you just don't know if you're in the right niche and you don't want to waste the time and energy and the money. What a waste of time that would be, right? Okay. So I'm going to speak to that. And the first thing I'm going to say is, like, I get it. I totally understand it. But I want to say that is the most backwards ass approach that we can have with this. I got to rub your nose in that a little bit. Because the whole point of being an entrepreneur is to be able to see something, a vision, a reality, a future, a product, a solution, an opportunity that no one else can see, and believe in it so much that you literally speak it into existence. You make it happen. You make it work. You make it real. And when we go into something, hemming and hawing, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, doubting it every step of the way, you've already set yourself up for failure. And I look back at my journey, and I had everything against me. Everything against me. The broke, awkward, shy, introvert kid that had a ton of fear, ton of money issues, all that stuff. But there was one thing I did have that I think most people don't have when they get started. And it's, I made a decision. I can remember this so vividly, that when I was getting started, I just knew, come hell or high water, I would make this work. There was no giving up. There was no, what if it doesn't work? There was no, I got to see something happen in X amount of time or else I'm going on to the next project. When I found that this world exists, there was such a level of commitment, of burning the boats, of throwing your hat over the wall, that I knew there was no turning back. See, I believe your success is inevitable. The question is, do you? There's only 2 things then that are in the way of that. The first one is time. It takes time. You know, like if you live in Southern California, you know, where there's a lot of traffic, you want to go from Orange County to LA, it takes time. The difference is some people, when they're stuck in traffic, bitch and moan and bang the steering wheel and hate their lives, and other people turn on a Tony Robbins motivational tape, right? It just takes time. So your success is inevitable. Two things standing in your way. The first is time. It's going to take time. It's up to you how much time it takes, of course. And we can drastically shortcut that time, and I'm going to help you with that today. And the other thing is it's you. We are the only other thing that get in our way. Okay? And part of that is this level of believability. And that's so important. So yeah, I went in the wrong niche, okay? So we've got an individual on the call here today saying, I've got an idea for a niche, but I don't know if it's a great idea. And she's looking to me for permission and validation. And if I said, this is a home run idea, go do it, her level of believability would go up, her confidence would go up, and she'd be more likely to take action, wouldn't she? Now, I can't necessarily do that because you have to be, if you're always looking for external validation, you're screwed, right? You got to get your own internal validation. Okay, but if we didn't know if this was going to work out, how easy is it to be like, well, I'm not going to, if this thing isn't a sure thing, I'm not really going to jump in there, right? And what I realize is that it's my decision, my commitment to make it a sure thing. So I went into the wrong niche. You know what my first niche was? Teaching bartending. Bartenders are broke. They don't pay money to bartend. But, one more time, but some of the greatest lessons in all my business experience came out of the first year I was working on that product. And what I really discovered is where my true gifts lie. You see, when I created the bartending product and I started going to conferences, people saw the bartending videos that I was making. People came up to me and they're like, how are you making these videos? This is amazing, because this was 2008. No one was making videos back then. It was cool if you had like an audio clip on your sales page, right? And I had videos on there. People were blown away. And I was smart enough, I was dumb in a lot of areas, but I was smart enough to go, oh, maybe this is another opportunity here. And so the biggest thing I can encourage you in 10 years of me doing this, we can take all the courses free like this one. You can spend an hour of your day on here. You can go buy every book and take every expensive course. But the most valuable content, information, and wisdom that you accrue will come from your own experience. Nothing will be a greater teacher than that. So what most people are doing is sitting on the sidelines, waiting to have it all figured out, waiting for the green light, waiting for all the ducks to be in a row. Then they'll get started. And I cannot tell you, I'm not just here to motivate you and say, go get started, go take action. I am here to tell you that when you get started, you will learn and discover so much more than just sitting here, being a student. So if anything, I hope that this training is getting you into more action. So you discover for yourself, you create the clarity, you create the breakthrough. I'm just kind of here to kind of point you in the right direction, but you're going to have to be the one that gets that focus and clarity. And when you discover how to master that yourself, you're unstoppable. You're freaking unstoppable. So I say this for no other reason than a genuine desire to help and serve you guys. So I hope you received that, right? In week 1, we talked about being coachable. Are you sitting here going, that sounds cool, and then you're going to go back to what you've always been doing, right? Opening up all these emails from all these people telling you about all these things and not doing anything, right? I hope you will. I hope you will this week. I do have homework for you this week. Okay, so enough about my rants and ramblings, right? Let's get into it today. This is your timeline. This is our 8-week agenda from I'm just getting started, I want to sell something on the internet, to oh my gosh, I know exactly what I need to do. Let's rock this. Let's just do a quick recap. A lot of foundational stuff. What's the right niche? And we're not even talking about your products yet. Just the right niche, okay? getting the right software, your website, all that type of stuff, and then creating a content plan. And last week, we did something really cool and really special, which is one of the things that I think differentiates me a lot, is that I want to teach you from day one how to be the CEO of your business, okay? I think it was Steve Jobs that talked about how he was the conductor of Apple, right? By surrounding yourself with great people. But James, I don't have the money to afford anyone. Well, go watch last week's training, because I show you how you can get started outsourcing very, very cheap, just a few dollars an hour. But now we are getting into something extremely important. Excuse me. Okay? Getting paid to build your list. Because here's the big problem I've seen, and this is where my stuff differentiates from a lot of other people. A lot of people give you all these, and I'm talking about like gurus out there and all that stuff. They give you all this stuff to do, all this busy work, and you stay busy building my website and got to build an opt-in page and all this blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden you've been doing that for 6 months and you ran out of money and you got nothing to show for it. And as Stephen Covey said, second habit of the 7 habits of highly effective people, you begin with the end in mind. I don't care what you say or what you tell people. If the end in mind is not sales, revenue, profit, and money, we're missing something. I don't really care about the money, James. I just want to help people. Then you start a charity. Sorry if I come off as being a total jerk, but it's true. If you're just concerned with helping people, then help people. There's nothing stopping anybody from helping people. I think when people say that, it's because they have a guilt about asking for money. They feel guilty, okay? But if you truly are saying, I want to start a business, or I want to work for myself, I don't want to work for anybody else, then you have to focus on the money. Because that's what a business does. And that's what a CEO does. Okay? So why wait 6 months before we start talking about how you can get paid when we can do it right now? I want you guys to get that everyone on this call, even if you're like, James, this is the first video live training I've watched. Everyone here can, if they're willing and committed, start getting paid right now, no matter what phase you're in. I want you to stay open and coachable and receive that, because we've been told a lot of stuff, or we tell ourselves that we need all these other things first, right? Is that you? Right? Well, now I got to get this website in. I was doing all this I got to get some guest postings so I can say I'm featured in all these things. And I got to build my email list to a certain number, and I've got to have a certain amount of blog posts out there, and I got to have a certain number of fans and all that stuff. No, you don't. And anybody who told you that is just making up stuff because it sounds cool. There's nothing stopping you from getting paid right now. Just like there's nothing stopping you from helping somebody right now today. Okay? So how do we do that? Good question. We're going to pull back first, and I'm going to tell you why this is so important. Because I'm not just talking about money to talk about money, although I like to, because it makes some people feel a little uncomfortable. Notice if you feel a little uncomfortable around this, right? Good. Fun. Okay. Let's talk about something else. Passion. This is something I'm actually very passionate about, right? Okay, so what is passion? I don't know. But what we do know is that people talk about passion a lot. Like, follow your passion. You got to have passion. It's like, wait, do I follow it or do I have it? Do I chase it or follow it, right? Or take it? I don't know. But passion. Now, what I do know is that when you have passion, you have energy, right? Energy to do the work, to take the action step. Can you think of a time right now where you were in the flow, where you were just getting stuff done, where you just were like, boom, 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 boom. Like, this is amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe it was work on the computer. Maybe it was talking to clients. Maybe it was something completely different, right? Chances are you had a lot of passion, right? So we can guess or speculate or assume that If we have a lot of passion, we've got a lot of energy. We've got the energy to do the right things in order to get results. So this passion piece becomes really important. I like to say that passion is kind of like the gas in the tank, right? I could get behind that. So then we can say, well, where does the passion come from? Now, I think we can find a way to use willpower to create passion. We can focus our mind on things to build up passion. But you know what I think the easiest way is to increase our passion or keep that flame of passion alive? Progress. So I want you to imagine that you've projected yourself out 12 months from now. It's let's see, what's the date today? August 28th, 2018. I want you to imagine you've been doing this for 12 months and nothing's working. You've put your heart and soul into something. You've stayed busy. You've listened to your podcasts, drink your morning coffee. You went to work every day for 12 months and you've seen 0 results. How much passion do you have right now? How much excitement do you have when you get out of bed in the morning? How eager are you to open the laptop? Right? Now, I want you to imagine it's only a month from now. It's end of September. And every time you open up your laptop, you're seeing growth, progress. Oh my gosh, it's working. Another one. I'm not even saying what the progress is yet. We'll get into that. But you're like, holy cow, it's working. Oh my gosh, this is working. More excited, less excited. More passion or less passion, right? So this is so important because if we don't start experiencing progress, I literally believe that our entire vision, our purpose is at jeopardy, is on the line here. I mean, are we willing to go years without seeing any progress or results? And I will tell you, you know, like they say, life begins just outside your comfort zone. Real progress will begin just outside your comfort zone. I guarantee you. This is something I call at-bat moments. When you're up to the plate is like a baseball analogy, right? Every time you're either you have the chance to either strike out, you also have the chance, the opportunity to hit a home run. And the more times we put ourselves in those scenarios, the more opportunity we have to experience progress. So what do I mean by progress? Really, I mean profit. That's going to be the ultimate measure of progress. Like, yes, you can say, oh my gosh, I had 100 more people like my fan page. Oh my gosh, I got 50 more followers on Instagram. Absolutely, that's progress. But you can't buy dinner with likes, right? Those little hearts won't pay the bills. Profit will. So that's how important this is. I mean, I'm dead serious about this. I think everything is at stake if we don't put this right in front of us as one of the most important things we're doing now. Not 6 months from now, not a year from now, not once you've got all this other stuff done, but now. And I'm going to give you one of very many opportunities, ways, and strategies to do this. So I hope you'll do it. Okay. So yes, what did I say? We must find a way to start generating money from our idea now, not 6 months from now. I already said that. Okay, so how can we do that? How can we experience profit or progress now? The easiest way, if you're someone who's just starting out, is to create a low-hanging fruit offer that you can sell right now. So what I mean by low-hanging fruit is that what hangs a lot of people up is they fall in love with the idea of creating an online course. Oh, that's what I want to do. I want to create an online course. And how long is that taking you? I know people that have been working on their online course for 2 years. So that's an example of not a low-hanging fruit offer. And then I tell people all the time, which is something I teach inside Business by Design, well, you can just launch a beta program and teach the course live. i.e. what I'm doing exactly right now. And still some people go, no, that's crazy. I could never do that. I could never do that. Well, you know, then you can't. If you don't believe you can, right? So the low-hanging fruit offer is the thing that you know you can sell right now. So there are some more experienced people on the call. The low-hanging fruit is going to be the product that's sitting there that you haven't been doing anything with, that's completed, and you could sell that, right? But if you're just starting out, you're like, I got nothing to sell. And that's a myth right there. We got to dispel that. You absolutely have something to sell. And I'll show you exactly what that is. So it could be coaching, like a one-on-one coaching session or a coaching package, or even done for you work. You say, James, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to get away from that. Okay. Now, if you already have this, that's fantastic. But what we need is the profit to keep us going. Okay. And I'm going to show you how we take this one-on-one work and coaching work and start to mesh it into what I call leveraged offers, which is selling one-to-many, right? Group coaching, digital products, membership, etc. But the problem is most people take 6 months to a year to create that course. And doing this is going to help you sell it a lot faster. I want you to know that this is exactly what I did 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I was selling video stuff for years. A lot of you guys know me as the video guy. And I wanted to transition into selling more strategic marketing courses. So I did exactly what I'm telling you guys to do. I took on a few one-on-one coaching clients. And I did it not for the reason I'm asking you guys to do it, which is to like make sure you're getting profit now. I did it for all the other reasons that I'm about to share. So yes, when you do this, you get paid now. You can get paid today. Okay. But you also get proof of concept. So we had a student on the line at the beginning of the call saying, do I know this is a great idea? How do I know if this is a great niche or not? The ultimate test is, will they pay you? And I'm going to show you how today you could set up an offer and people could pay you by the end of the day. It's going to be that easy and that simple, okay? So it's going to give you proof of concept. If someone hands you money, you know you're onto something. You get that? Versus spending 6 months trying to build something and then finally launch it. That's backwards, okay? You're also going to get feedback. You're going to get feedback into what they really want to learn, what they're willing to pay for, and that's going to actually help you create your course. And of course, you're going to get testimonials. Guys, I cannot tell you, it slightly infuriates me. But I don't get that angry, so it really doesn't. But it infuriates me out of my compassion for you. So many people tell me, they say, James, how do I sell a course if I don't have any testimonials? And I want to shake them by the shoulder and I say, you get testimonials. You help people. You go out and you help people, okay? Even if it means for free. But this is exactly how, this is the easiest way we can do this right now, is if you just start doing a couple of one-on-one clients and you work with them really closely to get them results, you're going to get testimonials. So I did this. This is exactly what I did. I have my video marketing courses, and a couple of years ago, I took on one-on-one client. Now, I then grew that to 5, and I had 5 one-on-one clients at once. But I had one client, and his name was Rick Mulready. And I worked with him very closely, and he went from 0 to 6 figures in the first year. And then 2 years later, went to 400K a year. And now he's at 7 figures for this year. So from doing that work with him, basically 90% of the content I wanted to teach came through our conversations. So I got a lot of feedback about the course I wanted to create, but I also got a great case study. Yes, I got paid. Yes, I got proof of concept, but I also got the feedback and the testimonials. Ah, it's so important. And I don't want you to say, like, I'm above this. I don't want to do coaching. Don't look at it like that. This is a stepping stone. If you don't want to do coaching or one-on-one stuff, then you should have already had your course done and being sold right now. And if that's you, then this is for newbies, right? This is for someone just getting started, okay? But this is the stepping stone. This is a way that you can start to access that quicker, okay? Let me see. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, I shared a content strategy that you can do where you're using social media to drive traffic to a free piece of content that then builds your list. This is where most people stop, is that you just go, okay, I'm building my list, and you spend a year creating blog posts and you get 100 people on your opt-in list. You're like, what's the point of that? Okay, that's half of the equation. What we need to understand is that when someone opts in, that is when their interest is piqued. They want this now. They are such a relevant, hot lead that we got to be able to do something. In fact, I heard something recently that, let's see, when a lead submits their information, a lot of companies do this when they collect phone numbers. They have 5 minutes to call that lead. After the 5-minute mark, the chances of closing the lead drops drastically. 5 minutes after the opt-in. Okay? So what are we doing? We're getting them to opt in, and then we wait until we have 300 people on our email list, which takes 6 months. Then we email them. But what about that person that opted in 6 months ago? They don't even remember who you are, right? So we need something immediate right now, okay? So this is the other half of that. This is one way to do this. There are many ways to do this. But when they opt in, you send them to the thank you page, and you put an offer on the thank you page. Now, some people do the tripwire. I've done, the tripwire is like the $7 report kind of thing. That's fine. That works. But you still have to create the $7 report, and that's going to take time. You don't need to take any time to create a coaching offer, right? Now, personally, just so I go on the record, say I don't like the tripwire stuff. I won't go into the specifics of why. I've had people use it, and it works great for them. I've never really liked it for me. A lot of reasons. One is I don't want to be known as a guy selling $7 products. If you're in a niche with a lower price threshold, that's okay. Maybe it's perfect strategy. If you don't know what I'm talking about a tripwire, that's okay. I don't want to distract you anyways. But here's the big lesson. As soon as they opt in, you're going to make an offer. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, and then you just send them to a checkout page. You can use Samcart, PayPal. Kajabi has a whole checkout system. Easy peasy, right? So let me take you through this really quickly. How are we doing on the time, by the way? Good. You guys getting all this, enjoying it, finding value? Yes, hopefully. Good. Let me check. Okay. All right. So on the thank you page, it could be as simple as this. Now remember, they opted in for something, right? So let's make an offer. I can't make this any more simple than this, folks. Here it is. You put a video on there. The video could just be a PowerPoint video. Like text on the screen. I don't care. Hey, thanks for opting in for this thing. Let them know, like, it's going to be sent to your email or something, right? Then what you want to do is you want to remind them of the benefit of the thing that they just opted in for. I'll give you an example of this in a moment. So just follow me on the script. Take a screenshot of it when it's all the way done. But, hey, thanks for opting in for this free PDF. I'm going to send it to your email shortly, so make sure to check your inbox. Because this PDF, this thing, is going to help you get blank, result, benefit, outcome. Okay? It's got to be designed to solve a problem. But if you're like most people, you're probably also struggling with this problem. So at this point, your free PDF kind of solves that first step for them. Now that you've got the solution to this, we need to tackle this bigger problem. And I can help. The 3 magic words. I can help. And it's as simple as saying, if you'd like me to help you solve blank, this problem, there's a link below to sign up for whatever it is you want to call it, a coaching or strategy session with me. Now, this is where you want to make this really special. This is what I think is going to make this work really well for you, is it has to be a one-time offer. In other words, there has to be something special about this. Because you just subscribe to my newsletter, I'm going to offer a bonus, like more time or a price discount or a coupon code or something for the next, you could even just say for the next 48 hours. I don't know. Don't overthink it. Just make it special for them. In fact, you could also put this offer on your website. So let's say you put the offer on your website for $200, and you can even show them that. Like, look, you can sign up at any time, it's $200, but because you just signed up right now, I'm giving you a chance to get a session with me for $150. Easy, right? And then you need to end it with a call to action. Click the link below to get started, and there's a little link right there. Okay. If this feels too simple, it's because it is. That's the point. Okay. It's meant to be simple. You want to make it easy. Okay. So here's an example of this. If I were to do this teaching YouTube, so I'd have an opt-in page, and maybe one of my opt-ins would be something like a YouTube channel checklist. How to optimize your YouTube channel for more success. 17 or 12 tweaks. 17 or 12 optimization strategies for your YouTube channel so that you can get more views, subscribers, and customers. So they opt in for this YouTube channel checklist PDF, and on the thank you page, I say something like, hey, thanks so much for opting in for my 17 optimization strategies for your YouTube channel checklist. That PDF is going to be sent to you via email. So make sure to check your email in the next few minutes so you can download that and get to work on optimizing your channel for more views, more subscribers, and of course, more customers. Now, while I've got you here, I want to talk to you about something really important. I've been working with small business owners, online entrepreneurs, and local businesses for several years now. And they know the power of using YouTube to attract the right audience and convert that audience into leads and sales. But a lot of them don't know how to get started. And that's where I come in. Okay? I can help. Right? I've put together a very special opportunity where we can work together one-on-one to develop your 100K video view strategy. This is a 60-minute call where I'm going to lay out exactly what you need to do specifically for your business, for your market, and for your product over the next 90 days so you can take the right action and get the right results. Okay, so now I've introduced the offer. Now I want to introduce the price. Now, people have paid me as much as, no one's paid you before. You wouldn't want to say that line. But I could personally say, now listen, I have people that pay me over $25,000 a year to work with me in my year-long mastermind. But you don't have to pay anything near that to work with me one-on-one in this strategy session. Now this call actually goes for, I don't know, we'll talk about pricing in a minute. I'm just gonna make it up for $1,000, right? But because you just opted into my newsletter, for the next 48 hours, I'm making a special opportunity where you can join at 50% off. That's right. We can work together one-on-one for your 100K video view strategy call for just $500. Now, this discount won't last long, so make sure to click the link below and reserve your spot right now. Yeah, it'd be as simple as that. And not everyone's going to take you up on it. That's okay. But some people are. Okay? It's as simple as that, right? Now, I'm sure I have some questions. Let's talk about some pricing stuff, right? Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. Because that's probably the next thing. Well, how much should I charge for this? Look, the number one thing I want to say is that this isn't your business model. This is the stepping stone. This is the thing that gives you proof, progress, testimonials, and feedback. Okay? So I'm not going to ask you to be the premium price, most expensive person out there for this. I want you to get experience under your belt. I want you to start getting paid. I want you to start getting experience or progress. But here's a great rule of thumb. The bigger the problems you solve, the bigger the price tag, right? How big of a problem is it that you're solving? Bigger the problem, bigger the price tag. Okay, another thing to look at, we don't want to charge by the hour. So don't be like this, hey, it's only $50 an hour to work with me. Get rid of the per hour stuff. Charge by the result. Charge by the package. Notice, if you look at my example, it wasn't a like, work with me one-on-one, James Wedmore, $50 an hour. It was a, I might have mentioned time, like a 60-minute strategy call to map, but then I said to map out your 90-day game plan for getting to 100,000 views on your channel, your first 100,000 views. See, I created a specific result that we're moving towards. And you can't promise the result, but you can promise the steps and the action plan. It's up to them whether they want to do the work or not. Okay? So don't overthink the price, because the goal here is really just to start getting buyers. Because when we start getting buyers, we start getting a lot more data. Okay? Now, another way to look at this, it's more advanced, and we're not teaching this, but this is something else that I teach, is that instead of doing what I just said, this is something I do teach a lot and I share in Business by Design. Instead of just sending people like, here's a checklist, make a video, boom, just like I did, you can do this all on a webinar. They register for a webinar, you teach free content, and just pitch something at the end. If all you have right now is, hey, a few spots to work with me, do it. And when you do it on a webinar, there's going to be a lot of value because it's going to be really good results because you're going to have a lot of people on the call or more than one. So you can say, hey, listen, I've got 20 people on this call right now and I've got 3 spots available. So first people to walk in their spot are going to get it. After that, we're done. I can't take everybody on this call. I'm sorry. I only have room for 3 spots. So when you create that scarcity, more scarcity means more desire, right? So this can be done on a webinar. It can be done on a Facebook Live, or it can be done just like this, the way I taught it. Don't overthink this. If you pull back enough, I'm a principles, fundamentals person. So whatever is the newest fancy tool, don't get caught up in that crap. Look at what's really going on. Look at what's beneath the surface of the iceberg. It's free content, free value, make an offer for more value. Get them in with free stuff, help them for free, goodwill. A small fraction of people will take the next step with you, plain and simple. It's a small fraction, okay? You can do this on a webinar, you can do it on Facebook Live, you can do it the way I taught it here, okay? But here's the ultimate lesson that you are receiving from me here today that I hope you'll look at your business through, is that if we don't have some sort of profit plan in place now while we're building that course, while we're creating that epic signature perfect program, you're going to be working for 6 months to a year or more and not getting paid. And that's going to get tough. But James, if this works, I'm going to have a ton of clients. I won't have time. Find a way to balance it out. You got to find the balance. Okay. Yeah, find a way to make it work for you. But trust me, I'd rather have clients paying me money and only a little bit of time to create the course versus no money and all the time in the world. Okay, that's my opinion. That's how I would do it. So I hope that's how you would do it as well. Okay, remember, when you do this, you get paid, which means you get progress. You also get proof of concept. If someone's willing to pay you for coaching on this or done for you work, like I'll do it for you, right? Like I'll set up your channel for you. Whatever, you're just looking. It's an experiment research phase. You're going to get proof of concept. If people are willing to pay you for this, they're willing to pay for it in a course. More people will pay. Okay? But you're also going to get feedback. Working with this person, you're going to learn so much about your customer. And then, of course, you're going to have testimonials because you're helping people. Was this valuable? Simple, right? Homework. 3 things at the least. This is like bare minimum homework. I don't want you guys getting overwhelmed with work, but you want to identify what's your free opt-in. If you haven't already, we talked about that in week 3, so go back and review that. But then you identify your offer. And then write out the sales script. I gave you a template for one here. Kept it super simple, and then I made up one live on the spot. And it could literally be put into a PowerPoint video and you just record yourself talking and reading the words. If you're looking for, well, how do I get people to opt in? Go back to week 3 where I talked about your content plan. We talk about that there. And then the other answer would be some Facebook ads, which I'm not talking about. I do have a course on Facebook ads. I highly recommend my course because it's my course. And it's awesome. But that is a paid course. I do everyone here should be using Facebook ads. And I say should when I really mean must. You really must be using Facebook ads. And so that should be on your goal. If you're not using it, put it on your project list, goal list to be using Facebook ads before the end of this year. Okay. I am Dunzo Washington. What do you got for me? Questions? Let's see if I can look at some questions. Pamela says, very helpful. Can you suggest a price range for beginners? I already do a little hourly coaching, but like this package idea. Okay, yeah, Pamela, if you're already doing some hourly coaching, take the rate that you're doing and turn it into a package and just raise the price a little bit. That's it. So like if you're like, right now I do hourly for 100, okay, create it more like, brand it like a package. Like I'm going to give you a strategy session, and it includes a call today and a call in 30 days and a checkup call at 90 days. It's like, give them like a 90-day package, and there's only like a couple calls, but it could be broken up, like 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. And if you're already doing $100 an hour, go, okay, this is now going to take 2 hours of my time. So now it's already 200. And then go, okay, let's just bump the price up a little bit more. So it'd be like, all right, let's do $400 or $500. Heck, let's just do 500. Okay. Package is going to sell much more effectively. Jessica says, the surfing coach, wondering if you experienced what you perceive will be the biggest obstacle to be aware of. Yeah, so with the surfing thing is, I don't really think people are going to the internet to learn how to surf. That's tough. That's really tough. Yeah, that's my thing. I've looked into it myself a little bit, and I don't really see it having legs, to be honest with you. I live in a surfing town. I got a friend who's a surf instructor, and like, if that's what you're looking at is like teaching people how to surf, like I just don't think that's, in my opinion. Now you can always prove me wrong, but I'm just not excited about that idea at all. Let me know if you have other questions about that. Rivka asked a great question. Can you leverage your existing email list to sell your coaching package? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, what a great question. If you already have an email list, you can absolutely email and say something like 3 spots, like subject line. I only have 3 spots. Hey guys, I get requests all the time for people to do coaching. I've decided to open up just 3 spots. You can even have them apply, Rivka. Here's a quick application to see if you're a right fit. they could apply. I mean, that's a great, if you already have the list, absolutely. Okay, Jay, questions are coming in fast. What do you suggest for when we have a niche with several subcategories? Jason, why don't you re-ask the question and just get specific? Just tell me what your niche is and what the subcategories are. That'll help me answer it better. Timur says, James, do you think mindfulness and business coaching to help find passion, be more conscious for entrepreneurs sounds like a niche? They need a result. I really think they need a result. And only thing entrepreneurs are going to care about is leads and sales. So in the entrepreneur business space, it usually comes down to selling a system that helps get more leads, more sales, or both. Tim says, just had a meeting with a chiro who wants to expand his public speaking on health, wellness, and addiction for companies. Gave them a big outline in person based upon goals. Full gentleman gave price of $2,500 and they declined. Can I take this same approach for people on the internet? Well, absolutely you can. I'm just trying to say, I was curious about what the offer was for $2,500. If you want to tell me more about that, was it consulting or done for you work? Man, I think he turned down a great offer. Sounds like an idiot. He sounds dumb, Tim. But we can always do a better job at communicating the value of our offer. We can always get better at that, right? Joy, I'm struggling with understanding social media. I have tried to use YouTube videos, but not getting what I need. What do you suggest? That's a big, broad question. If you're struggling to learn YouTube more, I do recommend my course. Yeah, just take my course. Wait, my niche is RC trucking. What? Oh gosh, they're coming in too fast. Sorry guys, I'm doing my best to get all these answered here. RC trucking, what is that? Like remote control trucks? Shoot guys, I lost that question. Let me see if I can find it on the phone. The subcategories are education, safety, and environment. I still have no idea what that is. Like, is it, can you tell me more? Yeah, just tell me more about that. Let's see. Yeah, Joy, just get my YouTube course. I mean, that's my simple answer there if you want to learn it more. Tim, oh yeah, I got Tim's. Hold on, guys. I'm going to do it on my phone so I can get them all here. Oh, going the wrong way. Oops. Okay. This is from Terry. Do you think teaching integration of WordPress tools for e-commerce is a good niche? I think there's a product there. Yeah, like how to create your e-commerce store is a product. Yeah. I think that's not necessarily a niche. Like your niche would be e-commerce salespeople. But that's a product. How to set up your WordPress e-commerce store on a budget, something like that, right? How to save thousands doing it that way. Yeah, I read your reply, Tim. Okay, Victoria says, I have an in-person open house scheduled for potential students. The teaching will be recorded to create part of the online course. There will be an in-person recorded curriculum that can be taught by other professionals in my industry. Oh, awesome. I have VAs providing resumes. Fantastic. I'm really loving your course. Well done, Victoria. Well done. Lisa, how high should the offer be on the thank you page? It's Lisa, it's up to you. It's if someone were just starting out, which you're not, I would say make it less expensive. Someone like Lisa, like how to communicate, copy, obviously, like the higher the better. But my question for you is, are you thinking more of like a done for you thing or coaching and consulting? Because that's also going to help me determine the price. But you would have I think you would definitely should offer a higher price. But how much is a good question, right? Okay, let me see. Andrew says, if we have an opt-in with a free ebook offer on our website, should we set up an additional opt-in landing page as well, or just drive traffic to the website? If you've already got the offer, the opt-in for the free ebook, Andrew, then just change out the thank you page to have a video that says, hey, I'm going to send you the ebook in an email. I've got something for you. Patricia says, niche is positive living after loss for widows. Have a book and coaching offers, no takers. What am I doing wrong? Well, I don't know. It's not an easy question to answer. And I can't answer that question. So what am I, it's not working. What am I doing wrong? Okay. So it's an impossible question for me to answer. But fortunately, you can answer that question. You have the ability to answer that question. What am I doing wrong? So when we really understand what's at play here, we can create our own assessments. Now, one assessment might be it's a wrong niche. So until you can talk to someone and offer, you know, and get them to pay you, you really don't know if it's the right niche at all. Okay? So that could be it. I'm not saying it is, but that could be. Is this the right niche? Is this a niche where people are willing to pay? They may not be. Yeah, this is the first I've heard of this. Someone creating a product in this. So I have no previous examples to say, oh yeah, I know Susie Q's doing it and she's crushing it, right? Now, it could be a numbers thing. Okay? No one's seen your stuff. Like 5 people are seeing your stuff. It's always a numbers game. More people coming in. It could be a copy problem. It could be poor copy. I mean, it's a myriad of stuff. So what we got to start looking at, and we will talk about this more moving forward, but this is something I definitely talk about in Business by Design, is understanding the performance metrics of our business. So when you don't understand the performance metrics, you just go around saying it's not working. What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? How did I screw it up? And you don't know. So when you don't know, you've got very little power. But see, in my business, I can look at anything I'm doing, and if it's not working, I can tell you why in 5 minutes or less. And we have to be able to do that. I must be able to do that. And a lot of people are not talking about this. They're not teaching this. So you've got to know the performance metrics. That's a bigger conversation that I'm going to get into today. Let me continue with a few more. Bob, James, I purchased your YouTube course and Facebook ads course and BBD, just browsed over and looked amazing. I'm all in. In what order should I begin these studies? I'm a Kajabi founding member. Business by Design, for sure. Business by Design is going to give you the strategy. YouTube is going to be focusing on YouTube. Facebook ads is going to focus on Facebook ads. But BBD gives you the whole big layout of the land. Joy says, trying to find your YouTube course, can't find it. Can you just email customer support at jameswilmer.com? Customer support, and they'll just give you a link to it because I don't have a link in front of me. Customer support at jameswilmer.com. Lisa says, I will never offer done for you for a stranger, so it would be coaching, consulting, like a one-time offer. Well, the other thing, Lisa, is you could also do an application. Okay, that came up a few minutes ago. I think that's a great thing, is to throw out an application there. And because you already have an email list, you could just say, hey, I'm taking on 3 clients, 2 clients, 1 client. Here's an application. Okay. Merlina says, I work a funeral service that offered support and counseling as part of the funeral service. Maybe partner with a funeral service. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, go on to more comments. And you guys, if you wrote a question a long time ago and I didn't answer it, you can repost it. Let me refresh this. Okay, and we're only going to do like 5 more minutes. I like to wrap it up after an hour. Katana says, James Wilmer, I'm torn between 2 ideas. Same content, but one with married couples and one with just women. Any suggestions on how to decide which to test or to put out there first? That's a great question. I got 2 niche ideas, 2 product ideas. What do I do first? I've got a few ways that you can answer this. Number 1 is to look for the low-hanging fruit. What's going to be the easiest? Not the biggest result. See, that's kind of the thing. It's like, what's going to be more successful? Don't start with that. Go, what's going to get me results the fastest? Do I already have a group of single women that I could put this in front of? So that's the first thing, is what's going to get me results faster? Do I already have content and a sales page for one of these niches? And then I like to do the gut test. I believe that when we know how to use our own intuition, we can tap into more truth, more clarity. So what does your gut tell you? What is your, get out of your head for a moment. Don't try to figure this one out with your brain. What is your gut telling you? And if you don't know yet, if you're like, I don't know, then here's what you do. You tell your gut you'd like an answer in 48 hours. You say, okay, I'm going to make a decision on which niche I'm moving forward with, and I'd like an answer by then. And I need this to be a clear sign so that I make the right direction, the right decision for me and my business. Who am I serving first? But here's the ultimate secret, Katana. And this is what most people don't get. And I discovered this secret. There's 2 secrets here, but the biggest secret is that it rarely matters what decision you make. What matters is what comes after that decision. Do you go all in on the choice you made? Do you give the choice you made 100% of you? Or do you make the decision and then you regret it every step of the way? I've had so many of these pivotal moments in my life where it was like, shoot, should I go left or right? Should I choose A or B? And they always turn out right, because whenever I make the decision, I give it everything I got. And I think that's vastly more important. What if the universe is just giving you many opportunities and says, hey, you could do any of these opportunities, just pick one. Which one? It's like when you go to a buffet and you go, oh, do you want this or that? There's no wrong answer. It's just, what are you in the mood for? Pick one. So, I don't know. Okay. Someone said, I think it was Tim, mention your podcast. Okay. Thank you. I will mention my podcast. I will pimp the podcast. Mind Your Business. It's mindyourbusinesspodcast.com. So when I'm not doing this, I'm talking about crazy mindset stuff. I kind of said it at the beginning of the call. 10 years ago, I was the shy, awkward, low self-esteem, full of fear, full of doubt introvert. So I had to do a lot of work on myself, to say the least. Thank you, Mel. So that podcast is really the culmination of 10 years of work that I've done on myself and the work I've been able to help a lot of coaching clients and students with. It's all the mindset. So, yeah. Mindyourbusinesspodcast.com. Okay. Thank you, Terry. Let's see. It's too much. Okay, let's do this. Is my last comment. Landy, is it too much to present an offer for a 5-week beta course for $297 after delivering the PDF, or would it be better to have people sign up to get the offer when it opens? Yeah, that would be. I think that's a great idea, Landy. I like your second idea, is to just I feel like I should have this on me, right? Stop the share. You guys should just be looking at me so you can see me, not just the screen. Oops. Stop share. I really like the idea of putting a waitlist page there. So, yeah, she's already got a course coming out. So you could just say, hey, I'm coming out with a course soon. If you want to be the first one notified when this launches, just let me know. Put your email here. I know they just opted in, but you can get them opted in again. I like that idea. Okay, let's do like one or two more questions. Jessica, thank you for the shout out of the podcast. Pascal, thank you. Yeah, Victoria says, Abraham Hicks was mentioned in one of your podcasts, and I knew I had to listen. Yeah, thank you. It's mentioned in a lot of them. Thanks, you guys. Tamir, yeah, there is a niche for life coaching, but for entrepreneurs. I mean, I think so. Absolutely. But think about what entrepreneurs want. You know, a lot of them take life coaching stuff because they want to grow their business. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, you guys, we did an hour today. I really appreciate you hanging out. We've had a ton of people on. Thank you guys. I know I didn't get to all the questions. I did the best I could. It's 9 o'clock. My team is here. I got to start the day officially. You guys got to start your week. You got some homework. If you're not caught up, go get caught up. The calls, the trainings are actually really short themselves. Okay. And I'll go back and review the comments and questions and try to answer as many as I can from you guys. So stay tuned. All right. I'm out. I'm gone. So thank you, and I'll see you next week. Next week, same time. We got more to cover. Okay? Lay the foundation. Just keep taking work or take action. Do the work. All right, you guys. Take care. Record this. So we are recording right now. I'm going to share my screen. And I'll bring that up. Fantastic. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is week number 3 of our 8-week live free training boot camp. This pitch-free, fluff-free, no frills, no catch experience that I'm giving just members, you guys, of my free Facebook group. Now, for those of you guys who are just kind of joining late, don't really know me, hi, my name is James Wedmore. I'm the founder of a program called Business by Design. And I'm now going on to my 10th year of officially running a digital business, where for the last 10 years, I've been selling either online courses, membership sites, group coaching, pretty much any type of digital product in a way that you can package your knowledge or expertise and leverage that content to get it into the hands of people all over the world, the people that need your stuff. And we teach a lot of our more advanced strategic launching and scaling strategies inside my program, Business by Design. But here, I am talking about the course that I would need myself if I were just getting started today. So I don't want to hear anybody who's really smart and advanced saying, I've heard this before, I know this already. Because guess what? This isn't for you. This is for those people that are just getting their feet wet. And they felt overwhelmed and intimidated and confused by all the advanced stuff that's out there, by all the terms and nomenclature, etc. So I'm here to just start you out from ground zero, step one, and take you all the way through. So I hope for those of you guys who've been tuning in so far, you're having a good time. I haven't been overwhelming you too much. I try and keep it as simple and short as possible. Today is no exception, so I want to get into it. This is our 8-week plan. Okay. Week number 1 was finding your niche. Look, if you're still there, you're still there. That's fine. You got to get that nailed down, right? We got to just to get clear on at least the direction we want to go. Now, something I want to say here as well. You're going to hear me go off on tangents. You're going to hear me throw out some interesting stuff that's not part of our regularly scheduled programming. And one of these is this concept of building our wings on the way down. We have a quote it's a Zen saying that I absolutely love. It says, leap and the net will appear. So what I don't want you to do, if you're really being coachable, I have nothing to gain except for an experience of fulfillment and awesomeness by helping people. But you know, if you're sitting on the sidelines with your arms crossed, being like, I don't know if I want to listen to this guy. I'll listen to what he says, but I'm not going to do anything he says. Here's one way you can not be that person. I cannot tell you how much more value you're going to experience, how much more momentum and progress you will experience when you realize that trying to get it perfect, then taking the action, is the slowest, most ineffective way that you could approach anything in life or business. Let me say that again. Trying to get it all perfect before you take action is the least effective, most ineffective way to approach your business. It is through your own action that you will learn more than I am teaching you. Let me say that again. Through your own action, you will acquire more experience, knowledge, and wisdom than I could ever give you. At the end of the day, I'm just the guy that wants to push you off the ledge. So if you're that person that's saying, I can't get started yet, James, I can't get my website yet because I don't have my niche nailed down perfectly yet. That's ridiculous. You know what direction you want to go in. You're either heading north, south, east, or west. Pick the direction and start moving. You can always improve off of that. But the person who's willing to get into action, fail over and over again is the one that's going to succeed. Because when you approach your business like a scientist, you make a theory and you test your hypothesis. And what if every action item was simply an experiment? A lot of people, the more they learn about me and how I got to where I am and why I'm here and whatnot, one of the biggest things they notice is that wow, James just keeps taking action. Yep. I'm here to help you take the right actions, but you're still going to have to take it. Okay, so we've covered a lot already, and we've got so much more to cover. This week, we're talking about your content plan. We'll jump into that really fast. Starting next week, I'm going to help you get paid. You're going to make money if you're up to snuff with where we're at. I'm going to show you how you can start to get paid without a product, without a course, any of that, as soon as next week. I'm going to show you how we can start outsourcing by week 5, how to create the perfect offer, and how to sell it and create a sales system around it. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much to cover. I hope I'm not the only one that's excited. Am I the only one that's excited? I already know this stuff. I better, I'm the one teaching it, right? Okay, I'm just checking in for a second. Let's see. Okay. Yalda, nice to see you. Yasin. JC says, you and my wife both have something in common. You both want to push me off the ledge. I hope that's a good thing. All right. Week 2, if you haven't seen it, we're talking about your web properties, the exact tools and softwares you need, how to create your website, and we talked over a few things. If you missed that one, it's going into the members vault. Make sure to go through that if you haven't, so you stay up, okay? All right, this is your content plan. We're covering really just like 2 simple things. Choosing the right platform. What the heck is a platform? What do I mean when I say a platform? And then how to create a strategic content marketing plan around your platform that builds your list and brings you customers. And there will be more stuff that comes in there, okay? It's really simple, really short training today. Now, I always going to bring back my simple big picture strategy visual for you guys. Remember, all we need is traffic, leads, and conversions. Put blinders on. Anything else right now is a distraction. We need to get people to our stuff. We need to get those people to opt in and become a lead or a subscriber, and we need to turn those subscribers into customers. The more traffic you get, the more leads you get. The more leads you get, the more customers you get. TLC. I like to break that down in the most simplistic way possible. 2 circles. On the left, this is our traffic strategy. This is our magnet. This is how we're going to get people to us. This is the flame with which the moth will be drawn to. You're going to do this in 2 ways, your platform and paid advertising. And on the right, once you've attracted the right people, you're going to put them into the right sales sequence. A sales system that isn't sleazy, pushy, yucky, used car salesman-y. All right? There's a right way to do this. Okay? And I'm just curious, has anyone ever purchased anything from me before? because I want to demonstrate that it works and you can make it work without it being sleazy and slimy. So if you have, put it in so other people watching this can say, oh, okay. So I can sell stuff and I don't have to be all icky about it. Well, today we're just talking about the platform. This is a huge piece, okay? Every authority, expert, guru has a platform. All of them, okay? So we got to figure out what it is and what yours is going to be. Or maybe you already have one. That's okay. This will be a good refresher. All right, so here's the analogy I kind of came up with. If you want to catch a fish, what do you need? You're going to need the bait or the food that the fish wants. So that's pretty simple. But here's how this applies. If you want to attract customers, because that's what you want, who purchase your information products, I want you to think about this for a second. You want people that are eager to buy a product that is information-based. They're learning, right? They purchase and they learn. And you want to catch the people, use my fishing analogy here. You want to attract the people that want to consume content and pay for it. The food you'll need is content they want. And this is a very simple but interesting concept that we have to really land. I want you to get this. The same people that are searching for content to solve their problems, like, I want to lose weight. Think about this for a moment, guys. Two people decide in the same moment. One person's in LA, one person's in New York. Today's the day that I'm going to get in shape. Both people at the same time in these two locations, both decide, I'm going to lose weight. Person one goes searching for a personal trainer. I need to find a personal trainer who's going to whip my butt into shape. Person two does a Google search. Best workouts, best ways to lose weight, best diet plans for losing weight. Oops, sorry. Okay. Person one or person two, who's more likely to buy your digital product about weight loss? Person with the personal trainer or the person doing the Google search for diet plans, okay? Not everyone wants to buy content. Not everyone is looking to learn to solve their problems. Heck, I could just go to one of those 2 a.m. infomercials and get the little ab buster thing that does all the work for me, right? There are different types of buyers. And when you realize that the people that are searching for the information and content, those are your buyers. So that's the type of bait or food that we use. That becomes your magnet for attracting the right type of customers. I know this is very simple, but people don't tend to think this way. You might have a friend that says, hey, I'm looking for a personal trainer because I want to lose weight. And you're like, oh, I've got an ebook. They're like, I didn't say I want an ebook. I want a personal trainer. Okay? So your job is going to become so much easier as a salesperson when you realize that the same people looking for free content are the same people that pay for content to solve more problems. So the people searching for content to solve problems are the same people that invest their money in content that solves even more problems. So creating free content is the easiest way to attract people that buy paid content. Don't forget that. I know you're hearing that and you're like, that is so simple. Why didn't I think of that? Okay, free content attracts paid customers. If you are selling paid information, digital courses, products, memberships, etc. Okay? All right. So your platform becomes the place where you host your content. It becomes the magnet that attracts your customers. And here are 4 vital functions to your platform. Number 1, it establishes you as an authority. We all say we buy from those we know, like, and trust. We've all heard that before, right? But trust is more than just like, I could look at you, you could be trying to sell me something, and I'm like, hey, listen, Susie, I can think of this myself. She's not a con artist. I trust her as an honest person, but that doesn't mean I trust her in the results she could produce for me. But if she's perceived as an authority, then she has my trust. Man, I know Susie is going to get me results. So if you're not perceived as an authority, you're going to have a really hard time selling your stuff. Let me say that again. If you cannot be perceived as an authority, you are going to struggle selling your stuff. But James, who am I to be an authority? I think the word even just starts to feel really heavy. Well, we're going to cover all that, so don't worry. It's a lot easier than you think. But one of the first questions people are asking, one of the first questions they ask is, who is this person? And why should I be listening to them? And if you can't answer that question in their head, or those two questions in their head, they're not going to listen to anything you got to say. Who is this person? And why should I listen to them? You should write that down and begin to ponder it. Who is this person? And why should I listen to them? So your platform and your content is going to help to establish you as an authority. Now, it also helps to create rapport. Now, rapport is also about trust. Rapport is just the relationship. It's the quality of the relationship that you have with your audience. For those of you who have watched 3 weeks of this training, who here feels like they have a better relationship with me now than they did 2 weeks ago? Right? For those of you who have been following me for a long time, who feels like you have a better relationship now than the moment we first met on the interwebs? Your content and your platform creates rapport. If you do it right, okay? If you put crap out there and you're misleading and dishonest and filled with fluff, you can actually do all the opposite, antithesis of what I'm saying here. So it's really a good platform with great content establishes you as an authority, creates rapport, it provides value to your audience. You guys are all familiar with the law of reciprocity, right? Law of reciprocity states that there's this, almost like, I'm going to give my definition of it. There's this innate sense of guilt and undeservingness in human beings that when they receive value or gifts or something from others, they feel compelled to return the favor. So a lot of marketers have said this over the years, that if you want people to buy your paid stuff, you got to give them great free stuff, because the law of reciprocity. People start going, wow, if her free thing is this good, her paid thing is going to be amazing. And you know what? It should be. I mean, there's nothing wrong or manipulative in that, right? You should have great free stuff, and you should have even better paid stuff. There's your strategy. Put great free stuff out and even more great paid stuff out. Done, okay? Now, I know some people are already asking, but James, how much is too much free content? We will get into that today. That is the age-old question, the million-dollar question. That and what is the meaning of life? Meaning to life is the two biggest questions in the world. All right. It also, and this is the one that people miss, OMG. If you get this, you are going to be light years ahead of most people. Your platform and your content, your free content, is intended to create desire for your stuff. If it doesn't, why are you doing it? So each piece of content has to hit all of these. It has to establish or reestablish you as the authority, create rapport, provide value, and create desire for your stuff. So what does that mean? Well, here's an example. Let's say I decide to create a course on podcasting. Here's how to podcast, right? Just the first example popped in my head. Well, if I'm not creating content that gets you excited about the possibilities of podcasting, I'm not really creating desire. If I put a blog post up about a case study I did about how I made $15,000 in 1 month from my podcast, and I show you how I did it, even just gave a few tips, wouldn't you read that and be like, man, I should start podcasting? It creates desire for the thing that you're selling. So what is the thing that you're selling? A course on what? A membership on what? And you want it, so it's not really that you want desire for the product, it's you want desire for the transformation that your product delivers. Oh, guys, I promise you, this is huge, even if you don't know it yet. Take my word for it. It's huge. It's so important. All right. So, there's that analogy of the iceberg and how big it is under the water, right? You see just the tip of the iceberg, and then it's like under the water, it's huge, right? So what a lot of us are doing, unfortunately, to our own demise is we think we are being smart by modeling others that are successful. And we go, oh, I see what he's doing. I see what she's doing. I can do that. But all you're seeing is what's above the surface. Oh, he's just creating blog posts every week. I can create blog posts every week. My job is to get you to be way more strategic and effective in the actions you take. Why is this person creating blog posts every week? Well, because they're building authority, rapport, value, and they're creating desire for the transformation that their products elicit. So that when it comes time to pitch, launch, sell, or promote a product, the job is done. But see, most people don't connect those dots, and they just start pumping out content. And that can be a deadly waste of time. You guys are not going to be like that. You're going to be way more strategic. Okay, I can go further on this if you have any questions, but I want to move on. All right, we want to talk a little bit about which platform is right to you, because that's ultimately your homework for the week, is to lock in a platform. What do we got? Okay, there are a ton to choose from. There's a few that I like: podcast, YouTube, a blog, even a Facebook group. Hello, we're in one right now. Or any type of like live streaming, like even just doing webinars is a platform. I know many people that have built their entire business just around doing webinars. They didn't have a Facebook group. They didn't even have opt-in pages. They just did webinars. It's simple. We overthink so much stuff. They just do webinars. And they do like the same webinar over and over again. All right? So these are some of my favorites. Sure, there's others out there, and it depends on what niche you're in. But we're looking for the place where you get to do all those things, where you get to be the authority, where you get to share content, where you get to provide value, and where you get to get people excited about the possibilities of your products and programs. Okay? So which one is right for you? These are the 3 qualities that we really want to look for. First off, the type of content that you're going to be producing needs to be conducive to the platform that you're on. And I'll just give you an example of that right now. If I'm doing cooking tutorials, if I want to teach someone how to cook, a podcast on how to cook is not going to be as effective as YouTube videos or Facebook Lives of live demonstrations of cooking. Why? Because I need to see you cook. I need to see what you're putting in the pot. I need to see how you're cutting. I need my eyeballs to learn. However, if I was going to create a financial investment newsletter or financial advice, I could do an hour-long podcast every week. Easy. I could do an email newsletter. I could do blog posts. It doesn't need nearly as much video or visual. So you got to look at the type of content that you're going to be creating and say, what's the best medium? Audio, visual, text, some combination. Very, very important. The next thing we want to look at is, this is so important, where's your audience at? Where are they hanging out? Okay, so if you're in the business or entrepreneurial space, chances are 8 out of 10 of you, and this is my made up guess, 8 out of 10 of you listen to at least one podcast. So I know that entrepreneurs listen to podcasts. Business owners listen to podcasts more than they watch YouTube videos. And then I'll talk to entrepreneurs and be like, no, I watch YouTube videos all the time. And I go, great, what do you watch? And they're like, oh, I watch a bunch of fitness videos on there. Yeah. But what entrepreneurial stuff do you watch on YouTube? Okay. So, podcast. And then, yes, I have a podcast. Okay. So where's your audience hanging out? You got to start doing a little bit of that research. And then number 3, well, this is the penultimate. You've got to create the type of content that you love creating. So many people just put their own desires on the back end. Some people love doing live. Some people love making really cool videos. Other people are like, you know what, just get me behind a podcast mic and I'm just going to go. I'm just going to talk. So you got to start finding, well, what do you love doing? And at the intersection of these 3 critical components will be the clarity you need for the right platform for you. Is it a podcast? Is it something to do with video like on YouTube? Is it writing in some effect like a blog or a newsletter? Is it some sort of live streaming? Is it just a Facebook group where you have a community and curate content? What is it? Now here's the thing. Your homework will be to choose the right platform, but a lot of you won't. A lot of you will be scared. You'll be afraid that you've made the wrong decision, that you've chosen wrong. And so what you'll do instead is not choose anything. And I'll tell you right now that that is the worst choice that you can make. The amount of people I've seen over the years that have expressed a massive desire to build this business and are still sitting on the sidelines, not doing anything, is heartbreaking, because to me it comes down to not following their dreams, to stay unhappy and stuck in a situation that doesn't light them up. You're not going to do that. In fact, if you follow me, you know I'm use other things besides just left brain business in order to build my business, right? If you follow me on the Mind Your Business podcast. So one of the things that I do is I use my intuition a lot. It was my intuition that inspired me to create this course for you guys. Okay? So, what if you could use your intuition? What if you could use your intuition to get clarity on what the right platform is for you? So, if that's something you'd be interested in doing, here's how you're going to do it. Tony Robbins said the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. Quality of your life is determined not by the actions you take, not by how hard you work, not by how much you deserve, but simply by the quality of questions you ask. I believe that we have all the answers for everything that we want within ourselves. So we just have to be able to get out of our own way. We've got to be able to silence the fear, the doubt, the ego mind, and listen to our own inner guidance. Now, if you believe that, then this is going to be really easy for you. But you're just going to ask a question. You're just going to say something to yourself at any time. You could do it now. You could do it later. I don't care. It's your life. And you're going to say, I want to serve my niche. What is the best platform to serve them? And you're going to stay in the question until you feel your way to the answer. I want to serve online entrepreneurs who want to sell digital courses and memberships. What is the best platform to serve them? How can I serve them in the best way possible? And you're going to do one of two things. You're going to just keep asking until you just know the clarity. Sometimes people just kind of know the answer. Maybe the answer came to you immediately. Or sometimes we get signs. Maybe all of a sudden you get an email from one of your subscribers and followers and says, hey, do you have a podcast? You should really start a podcast. I don't take those things lightly. Your audience, your fans are telling you, right? Okay, but that's how you could answer this. But don't do what most people do, which they say, well, I don't know what's the right platform. So I'm not going to choose any. I'm not going to do anything because that's the only wrong decision you could make here. Does that make sense? I hope so. I'm going to go into a few of these because I do both podcasting and YouTube. And I love both of them, but I use them for very different purposes. So we're going to start to talk about the pros and cons a bit to maybe give you a little bit more clarity. Perhaps, maybe, we shall see. So let's start with the podcast. Podcasts can be great for longer, in-depth content that doesn't need any type of visual demonstration, okay? Perfect for people in business, marketing, personal development, finance. There's other niches and markets as well, but like those are going to be my favorites, right? Because it's just the content's going to be more conducive on podcasts. Even just thinking about the audience, okay? A busy business owner doesn't have time to stop everything to watch a YouTube video, but they could listen to a podcast on their way to work, right? So think of it that way. Now, big pros is podcast content's really easy to create. I mean, I do a podcast episode that's 30 minutes long. It took me 30 minutes to create it. Okay, I just press record and start talking. And the more you do it, the quicker you get at it, right? Here's another big pro to think of is time with listener, time with audience. So even though they're multitasking while they're listening to your episode, they're doing the dishes, they're cleaning the office, they're on their commute, they're on a walk, you're still in their ear for 30, 40 minutes. Logging that time with your listener is huge. Whereas in a YouTube video, like 3 to 5 minute video, you don't have as much time with them. Okay, so there's a huge opportunity there. Now the cons is, in my experience and in most people's experience, it's not the best traffic generator. So people are usually opening up an episode on their phone in the podcast app and they're staying there. They're not leaving to go jump to websites. Some people still do it and we still build a list and an audience. I'll show you guys how to do that. But most people stay native in the app there. While other platforms, it's easier to get people to click around. Okay. Let's just contrast that with YouTube because I use both of these platforms, but I use them in two very, very, very different ways. YouTube is going to be great for shorter how-to content needs visuals. I know tons of people that have built 6 and 7 businesses just by using YouTube. Obviously, I've been teaching YouTube now for a very long time. I've been using it. It's been my platform to teach video marketing, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know, I built a 7-figure business just around video, teaching video. So I used video to teach video. Why wouldn't I, right? I'm not going to make a podcast about how to make videos. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to be on the right medium, okay? But my videos on YouTube had to be short. They're very how-to demonstrable things that need visuals. So it's like how to light your set for your videos. You need a camera to show people how you're doing it. Very visual, right? You wouldn't write a blog post on how to tie a tie. You'd make a video. You guys got to start thinking about this, right? So YouTube or any video style, even if it's just Facebook Live, is going to be perfect for any business that needs to demonstrate tutorials, fitness, cooking, playing a musical instrument, okay? Now, again, you can always use both, but I don't want you to bite off more than you can chew. I don't want you to start 2 platforms at once. You start one and you master that, and then you can move on, okay? But that's the secret. People they bite off so much more than they can chew. They take on so many more things than they can handle because they're all excited about the possibilities, and then they give up on all of it, and they didn't get anywhere, okay? We spread ourselves too thin. We're going to be very ineffective. Now, the pros of something like a YouTube channel is, YouTube is owned by Google, so you can get a lot of traffic. People are searching Google and YouTube for tutorials and how-tos all the time. So you can be a digital nobody and then become a video celebrity in very little time, because if you're making and ranking videos, which is something I teach and I've been teaching for years, you can get found overnight. Okay, my yoga instructor years ago wanted to learn how to do YouTube. Now she has millions and millions. She has 30,000 subscribers on YouTube and like 10 million views or something like that. And she does yoga videos. But she was virtually unknown. She's just a local person. And I said, look, if you want to do yoga videos, here's how you got to do it. And she did it. And her whole business now is this virtual business. And the whole platform's built off of YouTube. I wouldn't have ever told her to go do a podcast on yoga, right? I mean, if they're talking about the industry of yoga to yoga teachers, but people that just want to take yoga class, her audience just wants to watch a video and do it in their living room or the comfort of their bedroom. They're not going to listen to a podcast about how to do yoga, all right? Okay, it's also easy to turn views into clicks. That's one of the things I love about YouTube. We won't go into how to do that, but if you do, just buy my YouTube course. Cons, it takes time. That's always everyone's biggest complaint, and you know, they cry to me about it. It takes too much time. But I have videos that are 7, 8 years old on YouTube that are still ranked, still getting me views. So I look at it as an investment. Are you willing to spend more time to have something be out there and working for you for years to come? Where are your Instagram posts from 6 weeks ago? Are they still working for you? James, I can post something on Instagram in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, but after a day, it's gone. Not my YouTube videos. I might spend a day on a video, but if it works for me for 7 years or more, that's the best investment of my time. People find out with Instagram, they're like, oh, it's so quick and so easy, but they've got to continue doing it. I haven't uploaded a video on YouTube for months. I don't even know if I have in this entire year. Yet I still get consistently 200,000 views a month. Why? Because I put in work years ago, and so now it's working for me still. It's called leverage, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got to start thinking that way. All right, so there are some examples. I want to start getting into strategic plan. You're going to have to choose your platform. I'll answer any questions you guys have, so just start posting in there, but I want to go over this really quickly. Here's at a high strategic level how this would work. You would create a piece of content, whether it's blog post, video, podcast, a Facebook Live, because that becomes a replay. And somehow, somewhere in that piece of content, you're going to have what people call a content upgrade, like a little PDF or a little bonus content. I'm going to show you a really cool way that you can do this in a second. But one example that we did was I did a podcast all about how to, it was called Breakthroughs with Surveys. And at the end of the podcast, you could opt in for a PDF on how to create and deploy your first survey. And we've had hundreds of people opt in from that content from that one podcast. This is really cool, right? So you send people to some sort of opt-in for that. So now that piece of content's out there and it's providing value, establishing you as the authority, but it's also building your list. Okay. And we're going to talk about next week what to do actually after they opt in to actually start getting paid, which is really exciting. Okay. And then we would just start to use social media to promote that content. So people think that just being on social media means they're on a platform. No, the way I look at business, and not everyone looks at it this way, but this is how I do it, and I make a lot of money, so it works for me, is I use all my social media sites or social tools like Instagram, a Facebook page, Facebook groups, even Twitter, which I don't really use, to drive traffic to my platform. So every week we find ways to use social media to get the word out about our latest podcast episode. We drive traffic to the podcast. So it's not about necessarily mastering all these platforms and having to be everywhere. To me, I look at it as, what's this weekly piece of content that we're creating? It doesn't even have to be weekly. You could do once a month. Who cares? You're getting something out there. And then how do we use social media to drive traffic to that content? Traffic the leads. See how wax on, wax off, right? Okay, now, but then a lot of people start going, James, that's so much work. You're telling me every time I create a podcast, I've got to also create a whole opt-in system. Well, I'm going to say two things for you. No, you don't. What we've done, and I didn't do a visual of it, but you could have one opt-in and you could have 10 videos or 10 podcasts directing to that one opt-in. So you kind of create this wheel of 10 pieces of content going to this opt-in, 10 pieces of content going to that opt-in, or even just 2 or 5, okay? You gotta start thinking leverage. Great site for you guys to check out is a website called scripted.com. You can get blog posts written for like 50, 60 bucks a piece, maybe a little less, depends on what type of content. So what you could do is like, this is no joke, they will do this. You could record an audio on your phone saying, okay, I want to write a blog post about the 3 steps to blah, blah, blah. I want to, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, and step 3 is this. You could send them the audio and say, please turn this into an article. And they'll write the whole darn thing for you. Amazing, right? So, James, I don't like writing. I don't want to write. Like, you don't even have to. Get someone to write it for you. All right? Okay. So here's an example of that. This is a blog post I have on my blog. Notice that there's content, then there's actually a button to opt in for stuff, and I even have it on the sidebar as well. We do this all the time. It's very simple, and it works great. But you're starting to get more strategic. And we'll talk more next week about what happens once they opt in, okay? So I want to talk about real briefly how to come up with content, because that's going to be part 2 of your homework. Choose your platform and make a list of content ideas. Okay, we're going to go over a few things. First one is searching YouTube and Google. Okay, this is, or even podcasts. Like basically, it's going to come up to doing your research. Okay, so let's do new incognito window. So let's say we choose cooking, right? So I can type in how to cook. And now, obviously, when I type in how to cook, like let's say that's your niche, we've got all these channels and videos with a lot of views, right? How to cook a cheap steak, 4.7 million views. We've got a channel here called How to Cook That. Let's open that up. And let's go to videos. Watch what I'm doing here. I'm going to videos. I'm going to go to most popular. Now they're doing like really fancy stuff here, right? So this is how to cook, that's cute, an iPad cake. So they've got these very specific cakes and things, and then they have tutorials around them, right? So you could start to do the same thing. So we're just looking at other channels. But now what else I can do? I can type in how to cook, and look at what drops down. How to cook rice, salmon, chicken, asparagus. So how to cook quinoa. Okay, here's a video that's 5 years old with almost 1 million views on how to cook quinoa. The next one, almost 500,000 views, right? So you're gonna get countless ideas. I mean, unbelievable plethora of information. Now, so this one's called Health Nut Nutrition. Let's go click on their channel. Now we can go to their videos, and we can start going to most popular and see, well, what are they making videos about? What I eat in a day, how to eat chia seeds, best oatmeal, a lot of stuff with like chia seeds in here, green smoothies, healthy breakfast ideas. I mean, guys, the information's out there. You just got to start looking. Now I could also go to Google and type in how to cook. Look, there's more suggestions. I can do a Google search, and then you can come down to the bottom, and you're going to have related searches. How to cook that chocolate cake, how to cook that YouTube, cooking basics, how to cook food, learn how to cook for beginners. So these are all possible topics for you, and I got that in like less than 5 minutes. And I know nothing about cooking, so I could already, if I was doing a cooking channel, I could come up with 100 topics to choose to make videos on, and I would put it on YouTube. Okay. How often do we overcomplicate this? Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay, number 2 is FAQs. What are the most frequently asked questions? Go onto these other YouTube channels. Find your competitors. Find the people that are already doing this. Remember, I said that's a good thing. In the first week's training, I said if there's people already doing this, that's a really good thing. People don't stay in markets that don't make money. Trust me. What are the most common questions? Just start reading the comments and the questions. What are people struggling with? What are the questions people are asking? That's where you start. When you start opening your mind this way, you'll just be inspired to create content. Oh man, I see that People keep asking this question, so I made a video about it. Simple. All right. You want to write down a list. When people try to do this thing that you're teaching, what are the biggest mistakes that they make? What are the biggest misconceptions that they have? Write down a list of all the mistakes they make, and you can create content around all of that. Okay? And then, of course, you want to create content that will create desire for your product. So a lot of times this is, let's say you teach a course on podcasting. Like, I would want to create content that demonstrates why podcasting. Like, maybe just a piece of content on the latest statistics of podcasts, interesting facts about podcasting, or how much money people are making on average with a podcast, or whatever, right? Okay? Things that get people excited about your thing that you sell. Also, you want to write down all the objections that people would have. This is so easy and so important. When it comes to a podcast, what are the things that people would have an objection about? Well, it's too expensive to get the gear. Okay, great. Create a podcast on cheap gear that they can get that's affordable. I wouldn't even know how to get started. Great. Create a getting started article. What's another objection? I don't think people listen to podcasts. Great. Create an article about proof of how many people listen to podcasts. Like, this becomes really easy, guys, right? But the thing is we're just not trained to think this way. So it's just a different way of thinking. And you guys will get it. You'll be there, I promise. Okay? Guess what? That's it. That's your training today. I like to keep it under an hour. It's really simple. If it was complicated, then I didn't do my job. Okay, there's 2 pieces of homework. Then we'll get into some questions. Choose your platform. Make that choice this week. Use your gut. Start trusting your gut. Ask the right questions. And I want you to come up with at least 10 content ideas and 1 content upgrade. What's something they could opt in from? Like, hey, I'm going to talk about cheap podcasting gear, and then you're going to opt in for my complete buyer's guide for podcasting equipment. Okay. All right. Ugh. Woo! Let's check in with you guys. I still feel like tired this morning. Man, I need some coffee. All right. I'm going to see if I can check our comments, see how I can support you guys. We've had a ton. I'm just looking at 118 comments come in, so I really appreciate you guys. Mel, Andrew, Jeff, awesome. James, if there are already millions of those articles, then why should I talk the same? You're right, Timur. You shouldn't follow your dreams because other people already followed theirs. That's how I interpret that question. Who cares what other people are doing? We have to stop looking at and caring about what anybody else is doing. Timur, if you're here to serve, you don't not serve because other people are serving. If someone else is already helping people, you don't decide, oh, I won't help people then because someone else has got it. If it's your goal and your plan and your mission, your purpose to help people, you just do it. You just do it. I know that sounds simple too, but I wouldn't worry about it. I really, really wouldn't worry about it. Now, it's easy for me to say. It's not so easy for people to receive that and take action on it. JC talked about PLR. That's private label rights, right? It's tough. I don't know. Dude, I've got my theories. Is JC a guy or a girl? I'm sorry if you're a girl. I can't see. Okay. So private label rights is basically like you can buy pre-made content and use it as your own. Here's what I'm going to say to that. If you're in my community, I'm just going to tell you don't do that. I don't want my students doing that. And here's why. First of all, I think it's a lazy man's route. Okay. Just buying someone else's content. But I do believe that everything is energy, and what you put your energy and your love into, it will be like a magnet that attracts your tribe. And when it's someone else's stuff or it's some, copy and paste thing that all these people are using, to me, it's dead. It's not full of life. It's not full of your energy. And it's your stuff that's going to really shine through. Even when we outsource content to scripted, that site I told you guys about, it's still my outline, and then I put a final draft on top of it. I can't express how important that is. It's your stuff. I don't think I've ever seen someone who's been successful and you find out that they've never created their own content. They just took pre-existing content, copy and pasted on their website. You guys got to start thinking about the business that you want to become. You got to start thinking from who you will become now. What type of business are you looking to build? And act from that place. Tim says, James, how do I drive new traffic to Facebook if they don't know who I am? So that's always, listen, Tim, that's always going to be the conundrum, the big challenge. How do I do this if no one knows who I am? So two things. Number one, you got to just get started and create content. And you got to create content knowing that no one's going to see the first few pieces you put out. But number two, the answer is Facebook ads. I'm not going to teach Facebook ads in this training because I have a course on it and people pay money for that. But here's the thing. If you want to build this business, if you want to build $1 million business selling digital courses, memberships, group coaching, you're going to have to invest time or money, and a combination of both, really. But if you say, I'm just going to put out a podcast every week, that's going to take time. If you put out a podcast a week and then invest paid advertising, you're going to invest money in those paid ads, but you're going to shortcut your time drastically. So here's the funny thing. I'm just going to rub people's noses in it. I can't tell you how many times people are doing this business and they say, I'm too afraid to invest money in paid ads. So we're so held on to our money. We don't want to let go of it, but we're so loosey-goosey with our time. You're willing to give all of your time and life force for months to something, but you won't give up $100. Effective entrepreneurs and business owners know how to create money. But no one on the planet, as far as I know, knows how to create more time. So we're willing to just loosey-goosey give up a diminishing resource. If we decide to look at time as a linear diminishing variable, we're giving up this thing that we can't get back so easily, so freely, but we're not willing to give away something that we could make back 10 times. And it becomes even more ironic when we won't give up money that has the potential to even make us more money. It's interesting behavior. It's an interesting thought pattern that we look at. Remember, you're not an employee in this business. You are an entrepreneur. And it takes a different type of thinking. I'm going to do one more minute of question asking. Was this beneficial, guys? Was this helpful? Did you learn something new? I hope so. Sherry asks, how many words will scripted write for a $50 article? I think it's like 400 words, something like that. Thank you, John Gallagher. JC says, do you have a course on podcasting? No, I don't. I would check out Pat Flynn. I would go to Pat Flynn for podcasting. Timur says, but do you teach targeting? Yes, in my Facebook ads course. Sharon says, if my audience does not have social media and my product helps them set it up, can I contact them through emails publicly listed without worrying about spam? Okay, great question. So Sharon says, well, the audience I'm targeting isn't really on social media. Okay, fair enough. Can I contact them through emails listed publicly without worrying about spam? No, I would not do that. That will not help. That is not effective. they need to give you their email address. So you need to find out where they are. Okay, if they don't have social media, are they still going on the internet? And when they go on the internet, what do? Are they going to forums? Are they doing searches in Google? Are they going to YouTube maybe? Okay, you got to find out where they are and what they're doing and be in front of them. But just taking their emails and blasting them is spam. And I know people that have been sued for a lot of money for doing that. Don't do it. It's not worth it. And I want to go on the record saying I would never recommend that. That is not what we do. And you guys can build a business a way better way. Be the magnet where they come to you. What is the best tool for making annotations or actually drawing on a video to explain and teach? What does it look like compared to what it should look like? Yeah, I mean, ScreenFlow and Final Cut are great places to start, Melissa. That's what we use. Victoria's already got 11 content ideas for her videos. That's awesome. Well done. Cool, guys. I'm going to take off here in just a second. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate the commitment you've created for yourself. This is for you guys. You are demonstrating the commitment you have, not just for you, but for your future and what you're willing to create. Just accept the fact that this takes time. Are you patient? Are you willing to do the work? It's 2017. I've been doing this for 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, people were talking about the same stuff I'm talking about now. And so many people are like, I doubt this works. Come on, you can't do this on the internet. And it was the people that had faith, the people that had a vision of this is possible, and the people that took action that are here today with results. Are you willing to do that? Thank you, JC. Jordan says, you mentioned last week to start thinking about the website opt-in. Can we start doing this now? Is there a section in the particular training later? Great question. Jordan, if you're ready to rock and roll with that, go ahead and jump in. What I don't want you to do, Jordan, I want you to be mindful of this. Don't get so busy in the work that you then stop showing up here. Because part of where I suck at training, and it's being humorous, of course, is that I'm going to focus much more on strategy than big picture. I want to keep us out of the weeds too much, okay? You can spend 8 weeks building a website and you're not going to be making any money at the end of it, okay? So how are we going to spend our 8 weeks together? I want a strategic plan in your DNA. I want you to understand completely what it is that you need to be doing, what you need to be focusing on. So if you just dove into the website and then buried yourself in that project and then didn't show up to any of those others' calls, you'd be doing yourself a great disservice. So get to work on it, but don't overwhelm yourself, because it's in overwhelm where so many people fail and give up, okay? Because, I mean, you don't need a website to make money. Do you suggest to still enroll in Business by Design, and do you teach Facebook inside Business by Design? Tamur, I absolutely recommend Business by Design. My students in there are crushing it. You'd be crazy not to join, but it's not open right now. Do I teach Facebook inside of Business by Design? No, I have a separate course on that. Okay, let's see. So Dave says, how do you find where they are? You got to start doing the research. Find your competitors. See what they're doing. Talk to them. Find one person that's your audience and start talking to them. It's so easy. There's no secret formula other than just getting curious, asking, and doing the research. Victoria, thank you so much. James, do you want detailed info on posts regarding our homework, or should just keep it simple? Tim, just keep it simple and give me a list of that specific topic ideas. And please, if you guys could post them in the comment threads here. I was kind of MIA last week. I was with my Inner Circle Mastermind group. Those are my VIP clients. They take first priority. They pay me a lot of money. So I was not here in the group last week because I was with them. But I will be in the group much more this week. That's why I've left video 2 in there for now in this group, so I can review those comments before throwing that in the Kajabi membership site. But I want to thank you guys so much for being here. It is 9 o'clock. We covered a lot. We had some good times. It is the beginning of a whole new week. What action items are you going to take this week to start moving in a new direction? towards a new reality, the business that you are building, the business that you are creating. Remember to get into action. Drop that perfectionism. Drop that fear. Do it anyways. Actually, it's hard to drop the fear. Just take the action despite the fear. Thank you guys again. I'll be in the Facebook group, so leave your questions. Post your homework. Let's chat. Let's hang out. Let's frickin' do this, all right? Thank you guys. Have a fantastic week.